Hello, and welcome to The Collectors. Are you looking for Funko Pops? We got everything from commons exclusive to chasing. What about statues? We have everything from anime, Marvel, and DC available. So if you're looking to build your collection, be sure to stop by The Collectors. We are located in 3937 South McCall Road, Edinburgh, Texas.
And what is up? It's Friday night, and you're here with the Average Boys podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I'm here with my boy Brian D. What is up, Brian, my dude?
Yo, what's going on, Chris? How's everything going, bro? How was your week, man?
So far, so good. Where are you at? Where are you at? Look at your background. That place looks real familiar. I ain't gonna lie.
Very familiar.
Are you in Balrog's like parking lot of his casino?
Currently in the casino. I got some pretty hot chicks.
You got some pretty ladies in the back just dancing and shit.
A couple pimps back there. Yo, it's so weird that how we were kids and they were allowing this type of scenery to be playing in the background.
In the background? Well, I'm not gonna lie. If you like lean over a little bit, that looks like Jim Carrey on the other side from Dumb and Dumber with the top hat.
With the top.
Look at the dude. Look at the dude, man. No, it's pretty cool. What's up to everybody out there watching? Guys, thanks for jumping in the show. Always a pleasure. Anybody that's out there. But yeah, so far, the week's a work week. I had some really cool stuff going on. I got to learn some stuff at work. A little rough here and there, but overall, it's a nice job, man. I'm really enjoying it for what it's worth. I had a really rough week last week because I got thrown into like this crazy situation. One of the workers that's supposed to train me like stopped coming to work, and they're going to be out a couple weeks now. And yeah, I'm kind of on my own, but I'm a fast learner and I'm ready to do this shit. But how about you?
Hey, man. I mean, last week was probably one of the worst weeks in a while. But this week, way better spirits. Ready to get into this weekend, but before I get into my weekend, I want to sit down and talk some nerd shit with my guys.
That's the way to do it. Here, Friday night on the Average Boys podcast. Absolutely. It's where it's at. And you know what? Actually, I think we talked about this last week. For the last couple of weeks, it's kind of been, fresh, little loose. We had, of course, we were just talking about it a little while ago off shots. Peacemaker just came to an end. I haven't really been able to see it. I know you've been catching it. A good friend of ours is going to be on the show today. He was watching it too. He'll probably drop some knowledge on that today. We also had the Book of Boba Fett ended last week, but we just got done with the week of having Super Bowl, and there was some really cool shit that dropped during Super Bowl that we are definitely going to talk about today. I'm super excited. But before we get into that conversation, we have a friend of ours that we brought on the show today. He's a constant viewer of the show. He's a constant. I bring this guy on as much as I can. He's intelligent when it comes to the nerd talk. He loves his Star Wars. He loves his comic books. He loves all that good stuff. But he's also, and we all know this too, he's also one of the main contributors to one of South Texas's biggest conventions that happens, which is, of course, Harlingen Fan Convention and the event that we're going to be talking about today, Mighty Morphin Mania. So I want to bring on our guest that we have for our day, our special honored guest. He's going to be here with us. I think he's going to be here the majority of the day, but give it up for Michael Betancourt, folks. Mike,
hey guys,
brother. How you doing, man?
If you blew more smoke up my butt at this point, I think I'd be a smokestack. I appreciate it. Yeah,
well deserved.
Tell you, man, I got to make you super good, man. Tell us what's going on, man.
A lot of everything. We have Morphin Mania coming up. It is our the premier Power Ranger show in the Rio Grande Valley and South Texas. The closest show past this is probably in Houston, if I'm correct. We bring Power Rangers annually to the Harlingen Convention Center so people can meet them, different seasons, different cast members. And what we really did with Morphin Mania is this show specifically started off as an economic and business development assistance for comic book shops. When COVID hit and the pandemic changed everything, a lot of these shops couldn't make money. So as a convention, we undertook the responsibility of bringing these celebrities to shops. You would be able to meet your favorite Rangers as long as you were able to buy something from the store and support your local comic shop. So to make sure these businesses could stay afloat, we were bringing celebrities for them at no cost to them. We take the upfront costs and, of course, recoup everything via sponsors and all that. So now that things have gone a little bit back to normal, we're doing Morphin Mania as the bigger show, February 26th and 27th, and we're really focusing on Power Rangers in space and their specific grouping of Rangers.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, I mean, you guys got a handful of guests that are going to be coming, which is really, really cool. I'm super excited to have them all in. We're going to get the opportunity to talk to them. What's up, Lemon? How you doing, my dude? Our friendly Moan. But tell us about the guests and tell us about the things you're going to be having going on.
Yeah, no, with the guests, we're bringing in a couple of return guests. You know, we're focusing on Tracy Lynn Cruz. She's the yellow Turbo Ranger and Ranger in Space. We got Carla Bettis. She's the face of Rita Repulsa from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and on. I think she was in the film as well. Mm-hmm. And then as far as new guests, we have Christopher Kamen Lee, who's the Red Ranger Andros. I can never remember his name, and Margaret's probably going to shoot me in the face for not remembering his name because he's one of her favorites. And we got Sullivan Ward, who's the Blue Space Ranger, and Mr. Derek Stephen Prince, who plays a laundry list of villains.
He's a big voice actor, right?
Oh yeah, a massive voice actor. You know, for me and my nerdiness, he voices Vmon from Digimon. So you know, I am more of a Digimon fan than a Pokemon fan. Please don't murder me in the comments. But you know, Derek Stephen Prince, he's a different take than most conventions bring. You know, so yes, he is a voice actor from anime. You know, he has parts in Bleach and Naruto, massive characters. But we really wanted to focus on someone that voices these suit actors, you know, these characters that you don't really see very many facial features for. There's not really a lot to read off of when they're, you know, moving and acting. They have to create these personas. And, you know, Mr. Prince, you know, with his 400 plus credits to his name, does an amazing job bringing these characters to life.
That's very, very cool. When it comes to this kind of when it comes to this type of event, usually, of course, people will cosplay. There'll be a lot of people that are going there family wise, but you guys have a lot of other stuff that is not common for a cosplay anime event. You guys are hooked up with Scholastic and a lot of community affair stuff when it comes to the Harlingen area. What other things can we expect to see at this event that's been different from the other ones you guys have hosted before? You know,
realistically, with our shows, it's something that myself, Margaret, and Abel, my other two partners, really do push is community support. You know, we want to produce a show by fans for fans. You know, that's our motto and the Bible we live by. You know, if we love it, we want to make sure we share that same passion with you, so you love it, and we want to take those things that you love and connect them to the community, so you can go back and support home. Because in all reality, no matter what show we produce, no matter what big guests we bring, what a cool thing I put on, if you're not supporting smaller shows, if you're not supporting other artists, local artists, you know, your buddy that's a DJ, your friend that is creating art in his back room, you know, you're not breathing life into this. So we're bringing in, you know, local martial arts groups. We have Team Tire coming in that are going to be doing a demonstration on site. So those kids will be showing off, you know, their skills and their martial arts they're learning here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Nice.
You know, and their families get to come and see them perform in front of celebrities that are trained martial artists. That they're Power Rangers and they go on to do other acting gigs and everything. But I mean, they can literally kick the crud out of vast bulk of us if they really wanted to. I mean, I make the joke that Tracy Lynn Cruz is a knockout. She's a really pretty lady, but if she threw that punch, she'd drop me in one shot. I'm pretty sure.
She looks pretty tough.
Yeah. So, you know, that's our focus here, you know, with Harlingen Fan Convention, this just past one that we had, we brought in the Harlingen Humane Society and we had, I believe, 6 puppies adopted on site at the convention. Oh, wow. And we covered that fee. So it was a free adoption, you know, on site. You gave some animal that needed a family, you gave them their forever home through the convention.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. That's really cool. What about like, are you guys doing any like food vendors or anything like that? Anything in particular? I think we talked about this once.
For Morphin Mania, we are not. So we're not going to be doing any food vendors, but we have some crazy things in store. We have a potential K-pop event that I believe Abel will shoot me for dropping a little bit early. But we had that coming. So there'll be some food and some cultural pieces attached to that. Yeah, we have a lot of things in the works that are going to touch our fan bases, not just by celebrities and the shows we watch, but with the things that inspire those shows. We have returning guest Caitlin. She's an author that was at Harlingen Fan Convention. She'll be at
that's right.
Mania.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Renteria is her last name, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. Yeah,
Author
she'll
from
be
here.
showcasing her books, and with this new partnership we're doing with Scholastic Book Fair, we want to bring to light just the entire author community in the Rio Grande Valley, and the stories and the films and the television shows and the music that are coming out of our home that we're missing because we're looking out instead of looking in.
Mm-hmm. Very, very cool. I think we also got one of my homies, one of my best friends, Christella. She's going to be doing her cosplay stuff. Super excited. She's super excited to be there. She always loves doing her cosplay. Yeah, man. Morphin Mania is actually a really, really fun event. I don't know if a lot of people have had the opportunity to go out and check this out. This is going to be, I believe, this is like is this the second time or the third time?
Morphin Mania, this is the third time for this size of show, but we've done so many shop appearances that technically it would be our 20th show.
Oh wow!
Now drop some of the guests that you guys have brought before to the shop shows. You guys have dropped some big names, man.
Yeah, Jason Font, the Red Time Ranger. We have Johnny Young Bosch. The second.
That's my dude, man.
Morphin Black Ranger. Ichigo from Bleach. For me,
Johnny Young Bosch is like
Stampede.
the dude. Like he's Kaneda from fucking Akira, dude. Like Brian, like that is the guy. If you've seen any anime, this is the dude that voices 80% of them.
Oh wow!
Like I mean, off the top of my head, an anime. You ever see Trigun?
I know. I know.
He's Vash the Stampede. Like he's the main actor. Like in that. Johnny Bosch, and he was Do you remember the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie, the one that came out with like Ivan Ooze and shit?
Yeah.
He was the Asian Black Ranger.
Okay.
Remember they brought in they brought this dude out of nowhere?
Yeah.
That was the dude. That was the dude, man.
Jeez.
It's fucking. And now, if I'm not mistaken, he was recently, from what I remember, he was given the job of Broly for the new Dragon Ball series. He took over after they got Vic Mignogna out of the seat, and he took over, and he's been doing a fantastic job. Anybody out there that's still watching Power?
Up and down the fandoms. He's Bumblebee from the Transformer video games, Fall of Cybertrain. He's, like I said, Ichigo from Bleach. He's Vash from Trigun. He's all over the place. It's a bit ridiculous. Yeah.
He's literally every 18-year-old character in any popular anime. Like he's just got that voice, which I think, I don't know. It's been one of those things for years that I think a lot of people have kind of considered the idea of becoming voice actors in the last couple of years. These events, what's really, really cool is the Prince, right? His name is
Derek Stephen Prince.
Yeah, Derek Stephen Prince. He's got a pretty solid resume when it comes to things he's done. And these are really, really good opportunities for people to meet people in the business, talk to people who have taken these career paths that are very not common in the areas that we live in. But with the whole thing about the coronavirus, me and Brian talk about this kind of stuff all the time. When the coronavirus happened, it forced everybody to kind of get more technologically savvy. And people started, man, I guarantee there's dudes out there that have black magic equipment and switchboards and fucking roadcasting podcast equipment. Now that everything's back to being open, that shit's just collecting dust in people's houses now, I bet. It was such a move to become more technologically savvy that the opportunity to start voice acting and doing things like that in your own fucking room seems to be a lot more. There's more opportunity for it, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, no, in my opinion, I don't know how Brian feels about it, but I used to make the joke that I have a face for radio, and individuals like me that like to talk, but TV is not really the route to go. This time, gave that opportunity, to learn a different craft, and individuals like Derek Stephen Prince or even David Sobolov, when we brought him to Harlingen Fan Convention, he was the voice of Gorilla Grodd. They do private lessons on how to become voice actors. And my favorite quote from Mr. Sobolov when he was here was that he will take your money and he'll sit you down, and in the first 10 minutes he'll tell you if this is something you can do or you shouldn't do. Because his goal was not to take your money and give you false hope, but to really educate you on the craft. Because it's an art form to be able to talk a certain way, to create a character, to give life to a drawing.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
not everybody can do it.
it's kind of like just acting in general. Like, I don't think not anybody could just act. Sometimes it's like you either can act, you don't got the look. You can act, but you got the look, or you either don't have both or you got both. Like, that's just kind of like the way it goes. I think voice acting is kind of the same way. Like, but it's more tighter because you really don't have your looks to go off of. So like, you have to be very intricate when you speak. You have to really know what you're like, how to speak correctly. You gotta, say your words correctly. Even when it comes to like, what's really crazy is a lot of these voice actors end up doing like the different ages of the character they're portraying. And I've always thought that that's, I dabble, not in voice acting, but I dabble in singing and like doing stuff like that, like music. I love music stuff. Dang, and we got to do that today too, Brian. We got to fucking give people our top threes, man.
Second week in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. Second week in a row. We're gonna do it today, Mike. So I'll get Mike to do it too. We always kind of drop what we've been listening to this last week. So music wise, Mike, music wise. Yeah, I think music for later. But yeah, I dabble in a lot of music stuff and singing and all that stuff, and changing intonations in your voice, but staying the same is probably one of the most difficult things I've ever seen, like or tried in the sense of like voicing something. So like acting like an elder version of a voice and then a younger version of the same voice. That shit's weird as fuck. You look at John Young Bosch's career, the dude's played at least 50 characters, right? In his whole entire career.
I think it's a little bit more than that, but yeah, he's up there.
But the thing is like every one of those characters is different in their own way.
Oh, yeah,
but it's the same voice, dude. Like, it's the same guy's voice. It's the same damn dude's voice, but he's doing it 50 different ways. I don't know. I think it's super impressive.
That's gotta be like natural. That's gotta be like natural talent. Like, if I had a choice whether I had to like act in front of a crowd or be in my basement and do some voiceover acting or some like, I'd be in front of a crowd doing some regular acting, dude. Because yeah.
Juan Lemon says coming up with a character is hard enough, bro. Yeah, just imagine voicing 50 of them. Vince, our boy Vince Weaver in the comments. He's one of the local cosplayers. Really snazzy. He's got a badass Peacemaker outfit. If you guys haven't seen him in his Facebook,
oh yeah,
guys, go check him out. It is a solid ass costume. Good job, Vince. He puts, what franchises do you think or should cross over with the Power Rangers? Now, what's crazy is there's already been several organizations that have. If you're talking about, I think Justice League did a crossover with them.
Yeah.
Of course, the Ninja Turtles. Street Fighter just did one not too long ago where they put Chun-Li and Ryu in Power Ranger themed outfits, which was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, you also have Bat in the Sun.
I was gonna go right there.
Tremendous,
Bat in the Sun was my first thing I thought of when you guys said
the crossover that I'm excited for is the comic crossover that's coming up with Power Rangers versus Godzilla. Now that is a ridiculous ass crossover, but for that comic, I mean, I'm buying issue 1 to read how bad Godzilla wrecks that Megazord, because he's gonna do it.
Well, I mean, okay, so you have to remember what comic books do with these crossovers, right? Like, I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but if any of you guys ship for any anime, and I always tell you, Brian, I'm always hitting you up about this, but Attack on Titan is probably one of the most prolific, masterful art pieces in the anime world that's been done. Every generation has it. My generation, I like to claim it as Akira. Other animations will claim, Studio Ghibli. I think this generation of anime lovers, theirs is Attack on Titan. Well, I want to say like 4 years ago, they did an Attack on Titan crossover with Marvel.
Yes.
And it was probably one of the stupidest fucking things I ever read in my goddamn life. Did you read that shit, Mike?
Of course I read it. I was found out Spider-Man was gonna fight a Titan. I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, this is so bad.
It's because the Attack on Titan's anime is so bloody. It's so goddamn bloody. It's so violent. And you have Peter Parker come out. It's like one of the first things, and he like fucking Star Wars flips around Eren Yeager and drops him to the ground, and it's just so stupid. It's so bad.
You see, but the art style and the way that comic is set up really had me feeling that they were just rehashing the 19 is it 19 late 90s Onslaught
Oh, I knew you were gonna
storyline
say
that it was
Magneto
just
and-
the Sentinels coming out, and it felt rehashed. And maybe it's because the Japanese and American culture were so separate on time frames, but so together with the love of things that we have passion for. It just felt like, they literally took that frame from Ben Reilly's Spider-Man standing on the side of a building and a Sentinel flying up at him, and this time it's just a Titan instead of a Sentinel.
Titan. Brian, we got to be on our A game because Mike knows his fucking comic shit, dude.
Nah, you know what? I'm perfectly.
Brian's like, God damn, this guy knows some shit.
No, I'm just perfectly content sitting here and listening to you guys. Like, I'm not gonna. I mean, I was not into anime, or Attack on Titans back then. So this shit was gonna miss me, dude.
Have you had the chance to check out any new episodes or no, or any of the episodes at all?
No, I still have not gotten a chance to watch it.
I guarantee if you watch the first episode, and it sounds weird, the first episode will lock you down.
Okay.
The first episode. And the reason why it's so weird is because there's a good amount of anime that's out there that the first episode is so good, and then it trickles with their their pace.
Mm-hmm.
The first episode of Attack on Titan keeps that pace almost the whole first season. Like it's insane. Of course, in any kind of anime, they have to get to the dialogue and they have to get to the story building and all of that stuff. But Attack on Titan has like maybe 4 episodes of dialogue, and the rest is just complete madness, dude. Complete madness. I recommend it. Even if you're not into anime, I think it's a good story nonetheless. Great story nonetheless.
It's not even like I'm not into anime. It's just like there's just so much fucking out there.
Oh, definitely.
There's so much fucking anime to watch. It's like, damn, where exactly do I start? It's actually overwhelming, to be honest with you. It's like, where the fuck do you start? Like,
see,
where?
In that mindset, I think anime allows you to start where you love things to begin with already. Like, I was a big fan of jazz music, and I still am. And I'll listen to classic jazz, some modern stuff. So, a first anime that I picked up was Cowboy Bebop. Because their soundtrack is jazz, and the entire point is Spike Spiegel wants to play jazz and love jazz. He's doing his thing throughout the show, and that music drove it for me. So then I was like, okay, well, I loved that music, and then Trigun appeared, and it had that Western jazz kind of odd country rock kind of feel to their soundtracks. I go, well, hell, that music is drawing me in too. So finding anime that you enjoy is easy because there's so much of it that it'll match something else you like. Like, I'm a huge D&D nerd, massive Dungeons and Dragons fan. I've been playing it. Matter of fact, I really give benefit to all my public speaking skills to the fact that I played Dungeons and Dragons as a young adult. I learned to public speak and act and, put away that nervousness in front of a crowd because I had to be a paladin in front of the courts and kings and convince them to do what I needed them to do.
Yeah.
So, I liked that stuff. So, hey, I liked Record of Lodoss Wars in the 90s. I liked Slayers, anime that fit that high fantasy realm. So, depending on what you like, you can find an anime for your specific likes.
And it's interesting because a while back, Brian asked, it's still to this day, probably one of the coolest fucking questions I've ever been asked in my whole podcast life, which is if I consider the Boondocks an anime, which is of course, Riley and Huey, Freeman, the boys. And that's what makes it very difficult is because in the United States, when we watch a cartoon, it's just a cartoon. You already have like your mindset on, it's kind of just for kids or whatever. Like it's themed not for age gaps or whatever. In anime, it's more of a real show, a television show rather than a kid's entertainment factor, or I don't know how to explain it. It's so weird.
I think I would have to agree that the Boondocks is an anime on the grounds that for at least in my opinion, most anime is a cultural statement. Just like Godzilla. When Godzilla came out, it was a anti-nuclear propaganda film. It was against nuclear bombs, it was against nuclear radiation and weaponizing those things. And that's what anime gives us. And I think the Boondocks does that for us. So it's showing us a piece of culture that didn't have high level of media representation when it came out. And I did. I love the Boondocks. I watched that sucker straight through on Adult Swim. Matter of fact, I own all the seasons on DVD. I
There you
mean,
go.
Yeah.
it's a show that it's a cultural powerhouse, and even someone like me, culturally, I'm a Hispanic man, but I look like I'm a 6 foot tall Russian dude with like Norse hair because my beard turns red in the sun. So I don't match what I am. And for me to be able to connect to the Boondocks and see portions of my family, like I have cousins that are in Louisiana, and they had that same type of mind frame and that same type of music love and everything. Others in New York, some in Mexico, and be able to piece together my family in a cultural show like that, I would say Boondocks is an anime.
Yeah, I think for what it's worth, I like that the creator of the Boondocks, Aaron Magruder, like he kind of didn't take his culture. Well, he didn't take it serious. He just knew it for what it was. It's like us, like in the Hispanic culture, like we look at our culture and we laugh at all the stuff that other people would feel is like, man, that's horrible. You shouldn't laugh at that. And they'll be like, well, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, you don't get it. Like beans and rice and shit and fucking yeah, yeah. You see Michael laugh, you know, but it's because we just fucking poke fun at ourselves, and it's very but in the process of it, Aaron Magruder also acquired the other races to see this and watch it and become fans of it, like to where you kind of like, I don't know, like it's a gorgeous show. It's a gorgeous show that really brings into effect appreciation for traditional family, like tradition. I don't know, like I don't know. It's super. I don't know
traditional family values in a non-traditional setting. What Boondocks does well is hold up a mirror to the United States as a nation, as a populace. You know, I really do think it shows us what economics really look like, what greed can look like, what capitalism does to you. I mean, the dodgeball kickball episode alone is wonderful, and how much that rich ass old white man was willing to pay and do to secure that win over what they're Chinese, right? Or was they North Korean?
Yeah, they're Chinese.
They're Chinese. Yeah, and that the entire dynamic is the U.S. dollar versus the yen. It's much more than what you're getting on surface value. On surface value, it's funny, it's good, it's enjoyable. But if you're looking for something more, it's giving you that cultural underlay, so you can get a deeper meaning if you really want.
Okay, boys. One question before we get off the Boondock stuff, because I don't want to get too deep into that because we'll fucking talk forever. Favorite episode? Don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. Favorite episode?
It's got to be, for me personally, it's got to be the house party. Not the house, but the party at the Wenslers.
The first episode?
It's got to be the first episode.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's
that one.
Bad.
Uncle Ruckus getting drunk. And that song that he sings.
Yeah, the song at the beginning is rough. It is rough.
Me and my friends were walking around for like 2 weeks singing that song. That episode to me is it doesn't get any better than that episode.
Yeah, it's a fucking flagship right there. What about Mike? Mike, what about you, man?
Oh, there's a lot of great episodes, and about 99% of them I can't even say my favorite lines from because I'll get canceled today.
Yeah.
But I do have to give it to, I think it's the episode where Tom gets possessed by
Stink Meaner.
No.
I was gonna say my other one would have been the first Stink Meaner episode when they get into the accident when
he's the Blind Fury, dude.
The Blind Fury,
Blind Fury episode. Bro, fuck, that's good, man.
That episode
is so good. Yeah. Oh no, mine. My favorite episode would be the R. Kelly episode. I reference that every day, man. Every fucking day. We all know the motherfucker can sing. Stop dancing. Stop dancing. Man, that fucking dude, I reference that shit all the time, man. The Boondocks is so great. Of course, we talked about it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about they were supposed to be doing a what are they gonna do? They were gonna redo the series, but they ended up canceling it or putting it on hold. So I really hope they do it. I really fucking hope they do it. But Mike, tell me more, man. I want to know more about Morphomania. Tell me what else can we expect? I mean,
honestly, we're bringing back some of the usual stuff that you see at most shows. We're gonna have some great vendors. We have some great artists on site. We have amazing cosplayers. I know Cristella's gonna be launching her Pink Ranger.
Yeah, she is. She's all excited about that shit.
Yeah, which she's gonna break some hearts. Most of our attendees, male and female, love her, and for her show as everybody's first crush, the Pink Ranger. is going to give somebody some high blood pressure.
Real
I'll
gangster.
tell you that. Now we have Oz coming in. He's going to be showcasing, I believe, his Coco cosplay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have Elba coming in, and she's going to be coming with her Rita Repulsa, and hopefully she brings back her Blastoise armor cosplay. I don't know if you got to see her. I think it's a samurai style Blastoise.
Yeah.
She got some great stuff.
Pretty good. I think the lineup of cosplayers you got are solid. You know, solid people. I think Vince is probably going to go too, and he'll probably wear his Peacemaker outfit.
Yeah, Vince better go. I better see him in that Peacemaker outfit with this past season finale.
Yo, he's got a legit ass Peacemaker. But let's get into some fucking nerd talk. Let's get into
like we haven't been running out about Boondocks for the last 20 minutes, right?
Dude, fucking straight up, right? Mike, we really had planned to bring you on last week because we really wanted to have a really cool dynamic of someone that, I mean, could casually be considered almost like a historian of the franchise, right? Last week, of course, we talked about, I want to say, was it last week already, Brent? Like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, we talked about the finale of Boba Fett. So, and Mike, you were in the comment section, you were dropping some great stuff.
So wait, hold on. Before you give your recap of the final episode, I want to know, what were your thoughts on episode 5 and 6, or was it 4 and 5? Though you know the 2 episodes that I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know the 2 episodes.
You know the episodes I'm talking about.
Yeah,
what were your thoughts on those 2 episodes and just them coming out of left field? And what was your feel for the show after watching those 2 episodes?
So it's 2 parts. I understand completely the annoyance with Star Wars fans that we had a Boba Fett show without Boba Fett in it for the vast bulk of it. Mm-hmm. And those, I believe, are the old school traditional fans of the idea that, hey, this is our hero, his name's on the title, he should be in it all the time, we should see him being a badass.
Yeah.
But from a storytelling point of view, I really think the Book of Boba Fett built us a traditional mob and mafia, almost Godfather story, without focusing on one individual character. You know, what we saw with Bryce Dallas Howard and her episodes, the Mando focused episodes, were a build into the universe we didn't see. You know, before those episodes, we didn't, I mean, at least I had never stopped to think, how does a general civilian get around from planet to planet? You know, how do you move your family? How do you get from Coruscant to Tatooine? How do you get from Tatooine to Dagobah? You know, you didn't ask those questions because it didn't matter. We were just following the heroes. Luke had an X-wing and he did what the hell he wanted to do, and that was it. You know, we didn't care. You know, Vader got into his TIE fighter, you know, Darth Maul into his ship, all that jazz. But here we got to see people living. And for me, what pulled me so much into Boba Fett was the idea that we had a world that didn't focus around heroes. We didn't focus around the light side of the Force and the dark side of the Force, you know, rebellion and the Empire. We focus on people that are living their day-to-day lives. And it's something I think we forget about in high fantasy or early these space operas. You know, that it's not all Jedi and stormtroopers and Sith and X-wing pilots and all these aces and bounty hunters. That there are people that need to survive. You know, they depend on repairing ships. That there's a mechanic that is sleeping with Jawas for some reason, and has confirmed that they're hairy as hell under those robes. It freaked me out, guys. But you know, there's a whole other world out there that we're not getting, and I think Book of Boba Fett gave that to me. Especially since I've been a fan for so long, I really have to attribute it to my older cousins. They're massive nerds themselves. You know, one's a firefighter now, the other one works for the Secret Service, so they're badasses on their own. But every year, a new movie came out that was a superhero film, a space film. My cousin Emmanuel Montes and my cousin Adrian Alanis would take us all the younger cousins. They call us their Fraggles to see these things, and I learned to respect a story that way. You know, that there's a piece out there aside from the big fight, that there's a story to be told for people that need to pay the bills. And I do think Book of Boba Fett gave us that story. You know, a good example on my end is Danny Trejo's character. You know, he's a Rancor, you know, trainer. You know, he can take care of these creatures, and I never worried about the Rancor. I mean, I
was
remember
pissed that he didn't get any more of them. I was pissed that he was only in it for that one episode, and that was it, bro.
I was joking with Chris that I was expecting to come start throwing out machetes and tacos.
I wanted
something. Yeah, I literally, like, okay, so in the last episode when we see Boba come back and he's riding the Rancor, like I literally was expecting him and Machete to come back like on Rancors.
Yeah.
Like even with the machete, like even the Rancor to have a machete or something, man. I
No
don't. I mean,
shirt with the tattoo
man.
all out. Yeah, bro. That,
Yeah,
yeah,
with
that,
the-
that was the
Mexican
only
tacos
way.
on his chest.
Mexican
the
tattoo.
only way to end that fucking episode. So what were your thoughts on the finale then? So if that's
No,
how you felt.
my thoughts on the finale were skewed by me being a father, at the same time me being an old school nerd. You know, seeing
right.
Black Chrysanthemum out there. You know, I know we've been making the joke on social media. TikTok's been doing it really hard. Chewbacca out there kicking ass. It was great to see that character from, you know, the expanded universe, you know, coming in and showing how tough he could be. You know, pushing against.
Oh, he's been getting his ass kicked. What are you talking about?
To push against a force field from a droid that size and almost get in on
Mike,
his own.
all right, Mike. I know you're the guest and everything, but we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Name one fight, and granted, Chrysanthemum had a couple of fights. He got into a couple of scuffles, if you will. Name one fight he won.
Well, name one fight, and here's my counterpoint to it. Name one fight that he totally lost. So yeah, he
all of them.
Had him. He got his ass handed to him in that last fight. But how many shots did it take to even get him to limp?
Oh my! I was disappointed. I was so disappointed in what they did with Black Chrysanthemum, dude. Like, come on, you're supposed to be this badass gladiator that, you know, your name travels further than you. And yet, every time I'm watching you on screen, you're getting your at the only person.
But the only thing I
the only person that he beat up was the star of this fucking show.
But he got tanked by everybody though, man. Like that's that's like the worst kid in Fortnite. But like going back to this, right? You're saying that the legacy or the legend of Black Chrysanthemum or whatever his name is what was supposed to carry him in the show. But that legacy has been kind of scratched, and it's a whole new thing that they're trying to barely reinvent this character back on the show. Like, so it's not really basing it. The only thing that we knew about him on the show was he was a gladiator and some gladiator shit. So he can throw down, and he hates lizard people. Like that's all I knew about him. Other than, I mean, if I go off of the shit from way back in the day,
let me ask you a question. If they did not tell us in the show that he was a gladiator,
I wouldn't have known.
Would you have known by the way?
I would have just thought he was a Chewie, man.
All right,
that's what I mean. It's pretty cool. Like, I mean, for what it's worth, he did what a Chewbacca does. Like, he goes in there, he slaps some shit, and he walks real funny. That's all I know.
Yeah, we even got the throwback from when I think it was Han that says, "Let the Wookiee win." It's like, why should I let him win? Well, because nobody else will rip your arm off.
Yeah.
If he loses, and that's what does the Rodian, the lizard guy, which I mean is the easiest person to rip an arm off from. I mean, the damn arm grows back, but that's something that I do think, at least for myself as a fan from the Legacy series and the expanded universe. I mean, Black Chrysanthemum is a gladiator. So he knows to fight a specific way. He has to get in your face. He has to fist fight you. He has to do hand to hand. Yeah, and I do think that's why we see him get his shit rocked the vast bulk of the show, because he can only fight as a gladiator. You see that in the bar setting. The first thing he does is chunk everybody around. He grabs the one Rodian and lifts him up by his neck and rips his arm off, and that's a hand to hand fight. But in a blaster battle, I mean, he's gonna get taken down. He's not meant for that.
I love the fact that out of all the character development we've gotten for Black Chrysanthemum, the one thing that was blaring is that he's a bad drunk.
Yeah, man. Mine was that
he can't hold his liquor, bro.
His fur wasn't flammable, man.
It wasn't flammable.
Yeah, man. They shot that motherfucker with so many laser beams. And
I thought that was the coolest shit. Him being in the bar, and you could just tell he had attitude. Like he had been kicking a couple back, and he was just posted up like, "Yo, I'm about to fuck everybody up in this fucking bar right
he's
now."
Toxic.
He's a bad drunk.
He
was a bad drunk. I thought that was fucking awesome. But you know what?
He's the kind of guy that goes in looking for the fight.
I'm
gonna get drunk and fight somebody.
Yeah, he was looking for the fight.
Okay, but the other thing that I don't understand is like one moment he's ripping dude's arm off. But he's got like he's got like dream punches, man. I don't know if you guys get this, like when you're in a dream, like you're fucking asleep and you're fighting someone in a dream and your punches feel like
Feathers
they're
or
not doing anything, like you don't know how to punch. That's what Chris Hansen was doing in that shit. Every time he brought out his brass knuckles, it was like they were made of Eva foam. I don't understand. Like, okay, he rips a lizard dude's arm off, but in the last episode, he literally like donkey punches one in the back of the head, and the dude like just shakes it off.
yeah.
Like it was super weird how they were like they were power capping these dudes.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I
Well, go
think
ahead.
that was I think that was obvious. But Mike, I think we kind of got you off your game. And this listen, dude, I just want to let you know off the bat, this is what I do. Like I will pause you in the middle of your shit and I will just take you on a whole nother journey somewhere. But I want to get you back. But I will get you back on track though. So what were your thoughts on this last episode though?
I enjoyed the episode, and
Okay.
I think what won it for me is the fact that I have a 7-year-old son, and
Mhm.
it's something that I mentioned when this series, when Mando was finishing up.
Yeah.
That what drew me so deeply into the Mandalorian was the relationship between Jin and Grogu, that parent thing, and that's what Boba Fett did for me. I saw Boba show up. He was beaten, battered, and bruised by the Sarlacc. His body is deteriorated. Basically, he was melting with his own armor because Bexar won't melt, but the rest of him will. I mean, he's pickling in that junk. So he's already super weak. He has to depend on a race of creatures, a species that are traditionally viewed as monsters. And then we get this storyline of Tuskens that gives us more lore that shows that they're a tribal society, that they care for each other more than you were led to believe.
I appreciated that aspect of the show, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what kept winning Boba Fett for me, because there were things that were lacking. What I had loved to see Boba Fett launch that damn knee rocket far more often than he did. And yes, there's stuff that I didn't get that would have been great action wise, but lore wise, it gave me world building that was sorely lacking for Star Wars. We haven't seen that in a long time. I mean, since the original trilogy came out, where they created, George Lucas gave us this world. Here, the directors, took time, and the writers took time to expand on that. And the last episode, I think the moment that both broke my heart and made me super happy was when the mechanic, and I can't remember her name to save my life right now, uncovers Grogu. Yeah, and he jumps right at the Mando, and he's like, "Oh, you made it!" And he pulls his tunic down. You see the chainmail piece that he made of Bexar. As a father, I don't get to see my son all the time. He lives with my ex-wife. He goes to school in Austin. So when I see him and he's wearing something I gave him, or that moment, like today, I picked him up from school. I brought him here to my place, and he saw my truck drive up to pick him up in the bus lane, and he outran his teacher screaming "Daddy!" And those are the moments that we got from Boba Fett that touched my heart, because it shows us real emotion in a world that is laser beams, Wookiees that are literally Sasquatch with annoyed drinking problems, giant droids that look like scorpions, and these kaiju that nobody has a reason to be riding, but Boba was determined to ride the damn Rampart. And even that, I remember Return of the Jedi, where I was like, man, why is this guy so sad? That I guess he's sad that his pet died. I mean,
yeah, they never really explained that, and that was a really cool callback.
Yeah, so when Trejo's there, and I'm with you, Brian. I'm disappointed he wasn't in the last episode. But when Trejo explains to us, that Rancors, bond to the first person they see, and that it's a family dynamic, and they think that that's their mother, that's their father. That was more world building. That was like, oh man, I feel like an asshole that I was like, oh yeah, the monster's dead, and I didn't care that trainer was crying and hugging. I thought it was like, oh, it's just an animal. I mean, it's a monster. It can never be loving. It's just some horrible fang-toothed creature. But I think,
or even with the aspect of it, they just make it. I thought it was just like a trope of them trying to be like, oh, look, they're making it look like that guy works at SeaWorld or somewhere, because he's just a dude that trains animals or whatever, and that's what they would do. But it's not. The Book of Boba kind of showed you that there's a real deep lore connection to that whole aspect. I thought that was really cool. That was detail work. They weren't like Star Wars. I mean, well, we were even talking about this, like what's his name, Favreau and
Filoni.
Filoni, they don't miss on the detail stuff.
Now, you know, these dudes are like sitting in a room with their toys and like, okay, I want him to do this now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that show's getting written.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things like they don't miss details, and there's so much to the. I mean, Filoni himself has done some amazing callbacks throughout any show that he's worked on in the Star Wars franchise, and the dude's not afraid to take chances, which I tell people all the time when it comes to talking about this guy. When in one of the final episodes, I think it was like season 4 of Rebels, when he locked Ahsoka Tano in the Citadel, the Darth Citadel, the Sidious Citadel, with Vader, Anakin, all changed and they didn't have anywhere to go. She shoves Ezra out of there, and he takes the artifact or whatnot, and it's just them by themselves. You just kind of took it into fruition that no one ever survives Vader's interactions. It just never happens. Like that's just it. Like that's it. Ahsoka Tano, that was it.
Yeah.
Only for like maybe like a year and a half later, he was at San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con, one of the big ones. And he was wearing a shirt that said, he literally like unzipped his jacket to reveal a shirt that said Ahsoka lives. And the entire Star Wars community just went nuts online. And of course, nuts there at the event. But it just, so much speculation started. But of course, there was no answer to it. And then they, of course, you know, they brought in the back door to the Star Wars community and all that stuff. So that's going to have to, that's probably one of the most important things that I'm so excited for them to flesh out when they do bring in Ezra. Like when they bring him in and they do flesh out the whole backdoor, you know, transcending through time, how the Force works in that way. Like I'm kind of excited for that because I've never been a person who like sits on the idea of time travel in films. Like I really started doing this weird deep dive recently about how many times what's his name? Marty McFly died in Back to the Future because of all the times that Doc Brown has been able to get him somewhere or catch him in time, which is like everybody knows he's died a million times where Biff is.
Yep.
Do you remember that scene in Back to the Future 2 when he's in the tunnel? And then all of a sudden Doc Brown knew that he was going to come out the opposite side of the tunnel that he started from, because he had to go back and then do a Yui and come back. There was no way that dude was flying in and he knew that guy was going to make a Yui in the inside. There's no fucking way. So he knew that Marty McFly died. You know what I mean? There's a dark fucking future to the Back to, and that's why I think Rick and Morty is so much more funnier, because you know that shit's like, there was no way. There's no fucking way. There's no way he hadn't let one of them
going to
die.
Rick and Morty and the Marty McFly multiverse, if you will.
Yeah.
I just finished watching I think it's episode 2 in season 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ. 5 is so horrible, dude.
Yeah, with these extra families, these copies that they're making, and how many of them are dying these horrendous deaths, and these squid aliens. I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but it fits that same ideal. You know, how many times have you seen someone die and prepared for it or prepared some alternate scenario?
Yeah,
and yeah, it's a thing, and I think Star Wars as a whole doesn't do time travel the same way, because it focuses on the idea of the living force and how you can preemptively change something without changing something. It's a really weird thing. I have no idea how they're going to do it now with all the legend stuff gone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be interesting to see, because Ezra plays with that really hard, especially with the use of, you know, the animals that the beasts he partners with.
The Force creatures and stuff like that. That's some interesting shit. Brian, I never even got to ask you, but do you watch Rick and Morty?
I watched a couple episodes. I'm not. It's not my thing.
No,
it's cool, but it's
not at McDonald's yelling at them. You want Szechuan sauce and shit, or what?
Nah, it's not my.
Did you ever hear about that shit?
No.
Oh my god! So in one of the seasons, Rick, of course, is imprisoned in a intergalactic jail or whatever, and he's fucking with the jail cell dude. Like he's fucking with him. The guy's got him like on a mental mind shit, and in the process of it, he takes him through some weird ass memory. And it's him going through the McDonald's drive-through, and he asks for Szechuan sauce. Which, if you remember, I mean, you remember Mulan, right? You remember when they brought that shit out?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that good, but of course on the show, Rick is like, "Oh, the Szechuan sauce is one of the most amazing things. Oh, it's the greatest thing." The entire community of Rick and Morty was like, McDonald's, we're gonna social bully you like the way we did Sonic for the eyeballs
Okay.
into you guys bringing back Szechuan sauce. And McDonald's got bullied into bringing back Szechuan. It's not even that fucking great. Dude. I tell everybody it sucks. It's horrible. But they fucking brought it back. But McDonald's only brought it back in droves of like 200. Like 200 for every McDonald's.
Jesus.
So there was people that were fucking lined up outside like it was a concert.
Yeah, like selling that stuff on eBay for like $50
for hundreds of dollars, dude, for
a
the
little
little
packet
pack
of it,
of shit. It got super stupid. It got super. But you know what was even funnier is that the dude who makes Rick and Morty as a joke, like he created that whole thing. It was just a cool, funny reference, right? Well, McDonald's actually gave him like a gallon of Szechuan sauce. I was like, hey man, thanks for talking about our show on your shit. And he was like, what the fuck, dude? Like they gave him like a big ass Sam's Club.
The guy that made Rick and Morty is the same guy that made Loki, right? He's the same guy that wrote.
Well, okay, so I don't think they brought him in. I know that they brought one of. Okay, so it's funny you asked that because they brought in that dude. They brought in a guy, not Roland or whatever his name is. They brought in a writer from Rick and Morty to do the Loki show, and they brought in another one for Doctor Strange. So we're gonna be talking about that shit.
Yeah,
too,
they didn't bring
so.
in Dan Harmon and Roland. What's his name?
We're gonna talk. I just enough with Sam Raimi. That's more than enough for me already with this shit. Like, we're gonna be talking about that, but straight up. So Mike, on the Willies, man, like touch me in the right place. Tell me, what would you cap the Book of Boba Fett as a series? Not just the 2 episodes. The 2 episodes we know are good. The last episode was an adventure. It was like one. You know what it reminded me of? What was that one show on fucking Nickelodeon that the kids would go through, that hidden temple or some shit? And
it was something in the hidden temple. Oh my god!
You remember that shit, right? It was like
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, that's what that fucking show reminded me of. It was just so much shit that was going on. There was a golden little trinket at the end. For some reason, there was a baby, like, and then Godzilla came in. Or not King Kong, I'm sorry. King Kong.
Yeah.
At the end of it, and some lady had a fucking musket rifle. Fuck it, dude. Like, for what it's worth. Black Chris Hansen was knuckling a bunch of lizard dudes, and we all thought he died.
You got to call him by his street name. He's Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. And then not only that, Fennec fucking bodies everyone literally in the whole show in 20 seconds, which would have been the first episode.
I mean, she's Mulan, she's Chun-Li.
She's everything Asian, man.
Yeah, she's Agent May.
She's Jackie Chan. If they're gonna repraise Jackie Chan, they're just gonna get her to do him. Like she's wild as fuck. She's wild, and that's because she originally started not knowing any martial arts. She was just an actress. So I don't know if anybody knew that shit, but yeah, she never knew karate, never knew nothing. But now she does.
Now she's just the badass everywhere.
Yeah. So Mike, give us the 411 on this. What's your rating on that show?
You know what? It's not the best Star Wars show it could have been. There were inconsistencies that bothered the hell out of me. I mean, we didn't get the the X-wing pilots that made the cameo from Mandalorian. You know, if they're security and running police force on Tatooine, why in this shit didn't they get radioed in to come, X-wing bomb these damn droids ripping up Mos Espa? But in the long run, it did give us lore to build on. It's for me, it wasn't a centerpiece show, but it was a world building exercise. So for the Mandalorian, for Ahsoka show, all the things that are coming next, it showed us that our perspectives on what a specific planet could be from what we knew before are incorrect. A lot of people are like, oh, Tatooine's just sand and gangs and murderers. But there are people here. There are lives here. And I think that's something we need to take forward with us in Star Wars. And I do think that's what Book of Boba Fett gave us, that there is life beyond the battle.
Okay. That's a good call. I can see that. Your favorite part and your least favorite part?
Favorite part would have to be the fight between is it Vizsla, which is the heavy gunner Mandalorian, and Mando. because that sets up so much history from when that Heavy Gunner's family created the Darksaber, because he's related. He's a descendant of the first Mandalorian Jedi who makes that weapon. So in his mind, he has right to that weapon. His bloodline made it. It should be his. At the same time, Jin, he's wielding it because he won it in battle, but doesn't want the damn thing. So Heavy weighs the crown, and there's a lot of history there that allows us to build on for what the next season of Mando will be in hell. In my opinion, what my belief is that Grogu will take that Darksaber and lead the Mandalorians down the line. That's my call. So that's a favorite one. That's a pretty good one. Yeah, my least favorite damn moment is watching Cobb get shot by in the damn shoulder by Cad Bane and drop and be dying. Like, I've seen that dude in I don't know how many shows get just wailed on by bullets, and this one shot from Cad Bane, it guns him in one shot.
He's an older guy, man. He looks skinny. Like, we didn't,
But he shot him in the shoulder. I mean, that's the most bitch out. I mean, also another man. I mean, the deputy took 57 shots from Cad Bane or something.
Yeah, Cad Bane had zero respect for that dude. Yeah. He shot that dude even when he was laying on the ground. That was fucking gangster, man. That was hardcore shit.
So now, I don't know why, man. Yeah, so now I don't know. We're gonna get RoboCop, Cobb Vanth. I don't know what this modder is gonna do to him, but that annoyed the hell out of me. Like, that was inconsistent for how cool of a character that guy really was built up to be.
So, what do you guys think of the future for Cad Bane?
I don't think he's dead.
Oh,
I don't think he's dead either.
Yeah, Brian didn't think he was dead either. I thought that guy was 100% fucking bee's knees. That guy's in the ground, man.
Yeah,
I don't think he's dead, just because in traditional Star Wars films, if a guy that's wearing that much equipment on him dies, the equipment turns off. But he gets stabbed, and his boxes on his chest are still blinking. They're still doing their thing. So I don't think he's dead, and it would be a bad throwaway to have that badass of a character get taken down by one stab in the gut.
The other thing that I want to ask is, with the idea of them bringing back Cad Bane, them bringing in Black Chris Hansen, all of these, they even brought in the girl that's part of the Mighty Morphin Star Wars Rangers, right?
Yeah.
Who, that girl is also in the comic books, and she's actually Boba Fett's daughter. Like, she's actually the daughter of Boba Fett. He just doesn't know yet. So I don't know if they're really going to take it with that. I really doubt it, for the modder chick or whatever she is.
Yeah.
What do you think the possibility of us getting Star Killer in one of these shows, man?
I don't know if we'll get Star Killer before we get Mira Jade. I do think there's a lot of characters.
Chick?
Yeah, Luke's wife, in essence. Yeah. I don't remember when Lucas was talking about it, but he did bring up a point that a Jedi is not celibate. Like, they don't take
that's hardcore
oath of celibacy. They can go out and hit it and quit it, but that's the point. Like, they cannot stick around and form a relationship.
Yeah, man, they got to be players, man. They can't be following. They ain't got no time to fall in love with ladies and shit.
Luke's quote is, "Don't hate the player, hate the game," right? But
all these dudes out on the club claiming they're Jedis now, dude. Girl, I'm a Jedi, man. Foo, man, shit.
May the Force be with you, and just walk right out the door.
Just walk around.
I have a question. Wait a minute, Mike. Let me ask you a question. What's your take on Luke giving Grogu such a fucking dumbass fucking decision?
Be the biggest jerk in the fucking galaxy.
What are your thoughts on him and the way that he's, I guess, utilizing the teachings of the Force and all that stuff in the show?
I think it's a great example on how incomplete Luke's training is, for one, and how inaccurate Jedi training actually was.
And that's what I said. It's proven that shit is.
Yeah, and if you go back to episode 1 and Qui-Gon Jinn, he's my favorite Jedi, just for the fact that he was a true rebel in the Jedi Order. He first saw that what
he's on my face. He fucking Brian saw my face. He's fucking laughing. So I was like, let him ask the best question. Man.
All right, no, Mike has the floor.
Yeah, you got the floor.
Let him get his thing.
You guys made the mistake of bringing me on and start talking about.
Go ahead. That's why. Listen, go ahead. The floor is yours, man. Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, so Qui-Gon is the true rebel in as Jedi go, because he follows the light side of the Force. He follows it to a T, but knows that there's inconsistencies and there's problems with the way it's run. The way masters choose their apprentices, they aren't really chosen because they have potential, or they want to do it. A Jedi is chosen, at least in the older. And matter of fact, the new game that's coming out, and I can't remember the name of it, but they just released their trailer for it this week with Dark Malith. It really focuses on a Jedi Knight chooses his apprentice because that's the one he can make progress faster. That this one is stronger in the Force. Not that this child wants to learn the Force or is even Force sensitive. There's this favoritism to it, to get the bigger, prettier, cooler weapon, in essence.
Metachlorians.
Yeah. So you're looking at Qui-Gon listening to the council saying, "Do not train Anakin. You know, we sense fear in him." And Qui-Gon's, "Well, whether you like it or not, I'm going to do it because I can teach him, and we can get rid of fear. We can train him to be confident and to care." But Qui-Gon doesn't get to, because of course Darth Sidious, and Darth Maul, they have their plans. Qui-Gon is taken out, and Obi-Wan, for all he's worth, is not a teacher like Qui-Gon. He's a kid, a teenager that's put into that role and has to learn on the fly. And yeah, I mean, you see at the end of episode 1, Yoda says, "We confirm to you the honor of being a Jedi Knight, and young Anakin will be your Padawan." But Obi-Wan's not ready for it. I mean, as a person that's managed hundreds of people in business through my 13, 14 years of doing conventions and shows, the person that tells you I'm ready to do this is usually the person that's not. They have this blind confidence that they want to believe in themselves. And that's what we see in earlier Star Wars. And I think that's what brings us to Luke here. He's only been given so much training. He believes he's ready to be a Jedi Master because he's the last Jedi, according to him. And even with Ahsoka there, she claims that she is not the Jedi, that she's forsaken that path, that training, so she's not going to do it. So Luke gives him the most dumbass choice ever. Do you want the lightsaber or do you want armor? And anybody that's played a damn game is like, I want them both. I don't want to die. I don't want to get shot. Like, why wouldn't I want a lightsaber for armor as a Jedi? Yeah, so it's a bad choice. And Grogu, for all his 50 years of age or whatever he is now, is still a child. And no matter what, whether it's a cool toy or not, he wants to be with his father. I mean, we saw that moment when Din was taking off in his new Naboo starfighter, which
I love it.
And Grogu is sad to see him go, that he did not get to see him. And it kills Din too. And he was like, I want to give it to him. And he hands over the little baby Yoda wrapped thing and, hands it to Ahsoka. He's like, will you make sure he has it? It's a relationship that we didn't get to explore. And I do think that weighs heavily on Grogu in the decision he makes, which is why it leads me to my theory that in the end, Grogu will be the Force sensitive foundling that can lift that dark saber blade and lead the Mandalorians.
Well, I mean, we talked about that too last episode, where it's going to come full circle, where he's going to do what the original creator of the black saber did, and he was a Jedi who overall, was a Mandalorian emperor or whatnot, and he created the lightsaber as his lightsaber, right? The dark saber. Yeah. That he'll be the full circle of it. It'll be that coming back to it being where the Mandalorians are also a part of the Jedi community. My thing about Qui-Gon was, in all his cool rebellious nature, he literally started the whole entire situation with all of his rebelliousness. If he would have just listened to Sam Jackson and fucking Yoda in the beginning, we would have never had a fucking Darth Vader to start the whole universe. We never would have had Emperor Palpatine. In fact, I wouldn't have to be theorizing every other week that Sam Jackson's coming back. You know what I mean? If they never brought Anakin into the fucking story, fucking Mace Windu would have whipped that ass.
Did you see what Tamura said this past week? Where he's like, "Oh, if I get a season 2 of Boba Fett, I want my rematch with Mace Windu." So he's already called for it.
Said that?
Tamura, the guy that plays Boba Fett.
Nah, he ain't getting no fucking rematch. He just saw his dad get decapitated. He ain't getting shit,
what are
man.
you talking
He ain't getting
about?
shit. That guy's got daddy issues, man. You know, and if there's one
Now that
thing
Miss,
that I felt,
now that Mace Windu has one hand, now he wants to have a fight with him, right?
yeah, now he was the fucking.
Yeah, tough guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We
I think
know
Mace
full
Windu
well
just
that
needs
Mace
a
is going to have
huge
some
ass
badass
power
like
clip.
purple droid
Yep.
hand or something.
Dude, I keep saying that a Mace Windu comeback out of nowhere would be one of the most G shits on the planet right now. G, if he was like the saving grace in the background of the Star Wars universe. I mean, I would, it would make sense he didn't come out in the last three because the last three movies sucked.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
so I wouldn't
definitely-
come out of
I'm
that
definitely-
shit either. Sam Jackson's like, nah, I don't make those kind of movies, man.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't make those kind of movies. My movies are good.
I have a really good question. I have a question though for the both of you guys, and I don't think I asked while we were going over the recap. Why was Ahsoka in this show?
That's a good question. My theory.
Why the fuck was she there?
Yo,
And-
my theory
tell
has
me,
always
tell me
been.
why you think it's because she's banging Luke. Tell me why.
Oh, that'd be funny. No feelings. They just vibing on each other. She's like, I went after the dad. I didn't get it. I'm gonna go after the son. She's hard like that. It's because my theory is they're going off of the Reddit theory that came out a long time ago that Ahsoka ended up being the master Jedi who trained Luke after Yoda passes. That was a real big theory, and then it goes full circle that when Luke finally faces Darth Vader, that's why he's such a more superior swordsman because he learned from the Padawan directly, so he
But then-
knows his style.
But then didn't Mando ask like specifically why aren't you going to be the one to train Grogu? And she said, well, no, because it was because of his request. Like he wanted to do it. If she was the Jedi Master here, why wouldn't she overrule him and not make it seem as though like he had a say in this?
Well, it's the ass backwards rule of two. Now we've discussed this in previous ones, especially with the Sith. There can only be one master and one apprentice. Jedi do it also. One Jedi master tradition should only have one apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at it, the rule of two, then Ahsoka would be training Luke. Luke would have far surpassed Knight and his approaching master, so he would need to take an apprentice. So she would give Luke the option to pick up Grogu, and he would pick up Grogu.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, in the expanded universe, you see that Luke breaks that tradition and he builds his Jedi temple, which we saw being built by the androids here. And he brings in a shit ton of young Jedi that he has to be master for solely because there are no other Jedi masters.
The only other reason why I think that that's a thing also, the other reason in general is because I think that Grogu can sense that Luke is
Is a scumbag.
more powerful
Oh, okay.
than Ahsoka. Like that he's the bloodline. Like since Vader was such a strong character, that the Force is stronger in Luke because of that bloodline. Where Ahsoka Tano, like she's good on just her skills alone, and her moral compass. Luke is just naturally like he's just an athlete. He's a fucking, he doesn't train or nothing. He's just 100% Jedi, through and through.
Yeah, he's raw talent.
Yeah, he's just raw talent. That's what I feel, and that's why I feel that Grogu might have chosen him. But in the process of him creating that dynamic of the armor or the saber, I kind of feel that Luke already knew that Grogu didn't want to be a Jedi there yet. That's what I kind of feel like. I kind of just I have this idea that Grogu's lifetime can be like 5 over what anybody else can have. And I think that Grogu understands that the time that Mando and him have together is smaller than him becoming a Jedi.
Like that's something that I want to agree with here.
Yeah, so why give him the choice? Why not just be like, yo, here, dude, take the fucking chainmail, go live out your life with fucking Mando. When he dies, come back and or at some point we'll get back to this. Like,
because Luke understands the tradition of the Jedi is that you have to start them as younglings. But that Yoda
50 fucking years old.
Yeah, he ain't no youngling. That motherfucker is 50 years old, the baby suit. It's one of those things that's
older than
the
him.
hard part. That's the hard part about having a student of that race is that you interpret it as he's a kid. And that's why when Luke is training him, he's like, well, fuck, I ain't really training him. He already knows this shit. He's doing backflips in a fucking bathrobe. Like, I mean, shit. He like this
The tape
motherfucker got some
assassin.
skills, dude. Like he's already doing the shit that Yoda was doing, minus understanding it. And then Luke pulls out the whole Charles Xavier move out of fucking left field and unlocks his memories. He might unlock his goddamn powers too. And to me, it's one of those things that I just don't want it to be where he's the Deus Ex Machina. He's the thing that the show always goes to solve every problem. I think Brian made a really good point last week when he was like, "Yo, did you like how Mando got fucking killed by that Rancor?" And I was like, "Killed? He didn't get killed." And he's like, well, "He might as well have fucking punched through a building, slapped through a roof, fucking thrown like 6 blocks. The dude should be dead. There's no way a human body can survive in a metal fucking armor slamming to the ground and not dealing with the vibration." And then the Rancor comes and has a Pokemon moment with Grogu, and then they fucking cuddle up and go to sleep together. And I was like, oh no, what is this? What is this? And this is the major problem with me in the Star Wars franchise is there are times that it is an adult-oriented show, which is Kylo Ren trying to murder a bunch of people and get a girlfriend in the most toxic way possible.
Like
And
most
then-
of us in the Valley probably do on a normal basis, anyways.
And then, yeah, no shit. And then you have the fucking Nickelodeon episode of The Mandalorian we just had last episode, where it was, like I said, it was like a Benny Hill video. Everybody was running around, fucking hitting force fields with swords, lightsabers, and you had everything that a Star Wars trilogy would have in 20 minutes. You had Jedis, you had lightsabers, you had robots, you had giant monsters, you had a shootout at the OK Corral, you had a cowboy guy come in out of nowhere, you had a blue alien. Like everything you've always wanted in a spaceship movie came out in 20 minutes in the Mandalorian show. And that's why it reminded me of a fucking Nickelodeon cartoon. Like it was crazy. It was the last episode was nuts. But
you two fellas think that this was, I know that Star Wars originally is a westerny cowboy type of, has a type of feel to it. Was this show a little bit too much though? Was it too
I feel Robert Rodriguez went a little bit too heavy with it. Because the other 2 episodes were fantastic and they still had
I don't know if I would say it was too much. What I will give it is that I think Rodriguez tried to redirect and recorrect and overcompensate it.
Okay.
You know, we did spend an entire season of hearing fans cry, bitch, and moan that, oh, you know, there's not enough, you know, gunfights. Oh, we got these Mighty Morphin Power Ranger vehicles. You know, they picked and chose what they wanted to crap on.
Yeah.
So at the final episode, it's like, well, fine, okay, we're gonna blow everything up. We're gonna have an X-wing come in. We're gonna have your favorite droids. We're gonna drop BD-1 in there for no damn reason, and half of us are gonna fucking hope that Cal Kestis shows.
Hey! There is a reason, goddamn it. And I'm gonna hold on to it for as long as I possibly. Listen, if Chris could hold on to this Mace Windu shit, I can hold on to this as long as I.
I'll be right there with you. Even I was like, man, I am the hell. Even the same leg problem and everything it bothered the crap out of me. Yeah, so you know, we got an overcorrection, but it was still within the suspension of disbelief for me, where I could ignore that Mando was thrown around in 6-7 blocks, and you know the Rancor kept trying to bite his head and couldn't, because it was all in good.
He had his head all the way in his mouth. Pause, and just all right. I'm sorry.
Yo, even before that,
sorry.
the motherfucker was eating people whole. Why would he go in for this guy's head for no reason?
You gotta let Mike finish. You gotta let Mike
people whole.
We spent a whole episode shitting on this episode.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So suspension of disbelief. It goes back to I can't remember what comedian it was, but his Dr. Doolittle quote that he was watching Dr. Doolittle with his wife, and the wife was really, really upset. She's like, you know what? I understand that Mrs. Doolittle is an attorney, but they would never let a wife represent her own husband in a court of law. And he looks at her and he goes, this movie has a dude fucking talking to gorillas and dogs and cats. And that's what you have a problem with?
That's your fucking point?
Yeah. So a suspension of disbelief, as far as the way this last episode was okay with me. Like, yeah, I mean, logically, there's no way that Mando could have taken the ass kicking he took and not have, like, burst a damn lung. I mean, he barely touched his leg with the dark saber a couple of episodes before and melted a chunk of it off. But here, I mean, he's firing a flamethrower at close range into something's mouth and not getting singed. So, I mean, obviously we had to ignore some of the things so to make it fun. But I do think Rodriguez did overcorrect accidentally. He tried to give us way too much at the same time.
I kind of feel like probably one of the most major missed opportunities for this episode was to show that there's some type of PTSD with Boba constantly seeing his own head, like on other dead stormtroopers, like that constant remembrance of death in his own image. Because I think that's morbid as fuck if anybody thinks about it. Because in the Clone Wars, they cloned hundreds of thousands of them, of this one dude, and he just constantly saw himself die in every way possible. And not
we
only
saw in
that,
a Bad Batch, they even made variants of him. I mean, we have a female variant, we have
and then large that, he had to see his own father, who also has the same face, who then died in like a really obscure manner too. Again, the man, the myth, the legend, Mace Windu.
Which is something that I did like that they did with Cad Bane, where Cad's standing over him and tells him you're a killer. You have your father's blood running through you. And, you know, how much has that comment have to weigh on a person that is not a child? You are a modified clone. Like, although you feel that Jango was Boba's father, Jango was the original version of the copy that is unmodified Boba. Mm-hmm. So how weird must that feel? Like, oh, you had your father's blood. It's like, well, technically he's not my father. He's the original. I'm just the one that grew up thinking I was a kid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's such a missed opportunity that they don't kind of like hash out that part of the story.
Kind of get them a little. Same problem I had with the latest trilogy and Finn's storyline. You know, coming off being a stormtrooper himself, and you know, and all that, and not going out to try to free other stormtroopers. Like there was such a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, in the first of the trilogy, they hadn't picked up a lightsaber, and they brought in this whole idea that he was probably going to end up being like maybe a Padawan, like a new version of the Jedi who can train at later ages. They could have even had him be a force sensitive person with a lightsaber that was a fucking space pirate, like the way they do in all the video games, where they always have these like dudes that used to be Jedis, but they bounced because they hated it and then did their own thing. They had so many opportunities and they bumble fucked it so bad. We'll have to spend an entire 6 episodes probably talking about the goddamn last trilogy. I will tear into that shit so bad.
I would hard pass it. I wouldn't even want to waste the time on it, bro.
Yeah, it's because it's just hard winded. Yeah. By now it's already gone. I mean, it's easily forgettable if you think about it, but I don't think about it. But Mike, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would be your call for the Book of Boba Fett?
I would give it an 8, and it's based on the world building I got.
Okay.
Would I wanted more action? Yes. Would I preferred Boba Fett to have been the badass I saw in comics that won the fight against Darth Vader on a 1v1? I would have loved that Boba Fett. We're not going to get that ever. There's no way in hell. But world building wise, what it gave me from a person that enjoys lore, I think a solid 8 is where I'll put it.
Good stuff.
Hell, I think if you'd even given me the Boba Fett from fucking Mando season 2, I'd have been fucking fine. That's not the same Boba we got in the show.
It's not the same Boba.
That's not the same Boba that we got, and it's blatant, but whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. I would say that we got little bits and pieces of him, because in the last episode when him and Mando are getting overrun and he starts doing like his fucking knee blaster and he comes out and he talks shit to the dudes and they come in flying, like we got just
kicker,
we got little parts of it, but like it was very missed. If anything, this last episode reminded me of when Moss Gideon shows up and Mando and the dudes are all stuck in that little that little house and they have to kind of fight it out. That's exactly what this reminded me of. I just thought it was a rehashing of the same thing. But Mike, actually, you brought some really good insight on the Book of Boba Fett. You made me care about it maybe about 1% more.
1% is better than no percent. I'll take it.
That's more positive than what it was an hour ago.
But the segue Yeah, but to
I'm
segue
honestly,
back
I'm
into what we're
honestly
covering,
surprised that I'm out of the three of us. I am the one that gave this show the highest ranking. I gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, he
Like
gave it
I
an
think
8.5. I gave it a fucking
crazy.
solid 6, dude. Just a solid 1.6.2.5 or whatever, dude.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would have given me a higher score for Book of Boba is that the little inconsistencies
Paid off.
would have paid off. You know, I wanted to see the X-wing pilots come in and give a strafe. I didn't get to see the Jawas show up, and they had the damn dragon skull on their freaking
Yeah, they
sandal.
really, it was a missed
Why didn't we
opportunity,
have the crate dragon Jawas show up and start just nailing things down? There was a lot of allies that Mando made that we didn't get to see, and those little pieces are what frustrate me the most.
Yeah, what is it? Brian's favorite part is when the 7 people from the city showed up.
No, we were waiting. We were waiting for the people of Freetown to show up, and it's like 6 people.
Yeah, it's like a drive-by, dude.
We're
In a fucking
for these guys. Like
man.
this is the backup. We have
There was like 4 people in a Lincoln Continental.
You gave it to them. If it had been a drive-by, they came in like an Escalade with some big ass.
Yeah. Fucking
one of them is
in the back.
One of them is a bartender on the weekends just to get out the house from the wife and kids and shit, bro. What are you
That's
kidding?
gangster shit.
But it sounds hilarious. But that's what I liked about the Book of Boba. We saw real people
coming together,
doing things that we didn't get to see before. Like, yeah, he's a bartender on the weekend, but he was handling that turret like he knew what the hell he was doing. There's
it was just lucky that the Scorpion drones have worse accuracy than fucking stormtroopers. But anyway,
they have the same
here there. Oh, and the fact that Chrysanthemum got lit up by everything, and then was walking regularly the rest of the show.
Hey, you gotta give it to them though. I mean, if you saw that big guy walking at you, he'd be the first thing you'd shoot too. Like,
oh, absolutely. I'm putting him down. I'm putting him down. Like, fuck that.
My favorite part is when the 2 mod kids come to help him walk, and then he fucking shoves them out of the way and gets his gun and shoots them, and then chooses to bring them back and shit. I was like, dude, what are you doing, bro? You pushed them. Just roll somewhere. Cartwheel out of the way. Fucking drag yourself, man. Goddamn, man. That's pretty good though, Mike. That was a good call. All right, boys, on to the next one. The next one is going to be a little bit more of a different conversation. We're going to take this and change pace, and we're going to go right into our Marvel universe, and we're going to be talking first about a comment that was made by Kevin Feige in an article recently. And this goes with the idea of Kevin Feige coming out and saying that there's a lot of headlines that are going out there right now that are saying Kevin Feige has said that Endgame is the final Avengers movie. Guys, what do we have to say about this? Michael, since you're the guest, I want to hear what you got to say.
I do believe that Feige is making Endgame the final Avengers movie because we're going to see the traditional comic book Defenders show up. Now that Marvel has absorbed Fox, we have Ghost Rider back in the picture, the Silver Surfer, the Hulk, She-Hulk, a bunch of characters that made up the comic book Defenders. And with Doctor Strange and his Multiverse of Madness already kind of showing that Doctor Strange Defender outfit look, I do think that's the right route we're going. We're going to far more larger multiversal threats and enemies like Nightmare and creatures we get to see in the comic books, Shuma Gorath, that we see quickly in the trailer. So we're going to have an end to Avengers and start seeing Defenders and other teams start to appear.
Nice. Brian, I got to hear yours, man.
I kind of have to agree. I think that this is kind of, I don't want to say a misdirect, but I do think that he's choosing this statement very wisely. I think moving forward, we're not going to get like the typical Avengers movies with the title Avengers in it anymore. I think that we're going to get like a standalone movie, but we're just gonna bring in other superheroes along in it as well. And then that'll be technically, the same thing as an Avengers movie, but we're not gonna call it that. I think I can see a realm where that's gonna happen. And then there's gonna be like the Young Avengers, or like you said, the Defenders. It'll just be named something else. It just won't be named the Avengers anymore. I think that's all it be meant.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to agree. I feel more like a lot of these people that are out there covering this are kind of clickbaiting the subject, and they're kind of like nitpicking. I know that if you go back and you listen to the actual conversation that Kevin Feige had, he just kind of says, well, this is probably going to be the last time we see the Avengers team all lined up together again. So I mean, usually the casual person's gonna be like, "Oh man, no more Avengers! Oh shit! Oh god, dang! I bought the shirts and all this stuff." And
Way too much.
yeah, a lot of people are gonna. I mean, if you really look into it, there's no way that this is gonna be the last of Avengers film. You know, they're gonna build up to another major story. There's still so many different stories that they can attack. Of course, I just think that this is going to be a changing of the guard. That's really what it's stating. If you go back to the first Avengers movie, all the way to maybe like the fourth or fifth, they changed the Avengers roster like underwear, man. There was just fucking new characters like literally in the team at all times. It was in that process of us waiting for Captain America to yell Avengers Assemble. But in that process through that 10 years, we got that roster so big that at the ending of Endgame, when Captain America grabs the hammer and says Avengers Assemble, we had a roster of, dude, how many heroes were there? There had to be like 30 or 40 fucking
I think we're pretty close to 30, 35 heroes, not including all the students from the temple that Wong brings to them. The sorcerer apprentices. Mm-hmm. But I do think we are set up for Feige to hand off the reins, like you're saying, to other teams. You know, we have Shang-Chi in place, and he's one of the leaders for Heroes for Hire. And now that Marvel's repurchased the rights for Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and all them from Netflix, we can bring those characters in and create, you know, I mean, I think the roster is Shang-Chi, Misty Knight, Colleen, Iron Fist, Luke. They are the Heroes for Hire with Jessica. And Jessica already has that moniker for her detective agency with Alias and all that jazz. So we do see. I mean,
not only to mention that they have Agents of Atlas also.
Very true.
Which was a comic book series about a lot of the Asian characters from the Pacific Islanders all the way to Japan and China and Korea. Like they brought in a hell of a lot of different Asian characters for that.
Yeah, and we saw one of their leaders appear in WandaVision already.
Yeah,
you know, Agent Wu leads the Agents of Atlas.
Yeah, he's actually probably like their Nick Fury, I think. Like he's their dude that kind of controls the whole team, consisting of Amadeus Cho, whose sister was in Age of Ultron. Mm-hmm. Consisting of I think Wu, or not Wu, but I mean Shang-Chi's been a part of it also. The same thing with White Tiger, the girl that plays White Tiger's character. She's been in it. So there's always, what's super impressive is there's so many different teams in the Marvel universe that they could literally go with. It doesn't always have to be the Avengers.
I think there's a lot of teams already in place. Like you have you have the Young Avengers that are basically already here. You have the Dark Avengers or
You're breaking out. I can't hear you right now.
You hear me right now?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
So you have the Thunderbolts that are just they're there being formed right now. You have the Midnight Suns that are in the process of being built right now. So you have teams that are being built. So they may not be called the Avengers, but for sure we have teams that are going to be coming in with an Avengers style.
To reiterate what Brian's saying, I do think that the next big film will not be an Avengers film. It will be like we used to have in the 90s, like we'll go back to Onslaught. When Onslaught was happening, it wasn't the Avengers Onslaught. It was Onslaught and then the Marvel Universe underneath it. And you had every hero in the Marvel Universe going to deal with this situation. Same thing with the Age of Apocalypse. You know, it wasn't X-Men's Age of Apocalypse. It was the Age of Apocalypse. And every hero dealt with that world-changing situation. I do think that's the direction we're going. You know, Vince Weaver brought something up in the comments about Secret Wars, and that's a perfect example of a Marvel Universe-wide threat that isn't the Avengers Secret Wars, that is just the Secret Wars.
What's crazy is, now that you mention it, Brian was talking about getting into the Null storyline, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If there's one thing the movies haven't really done with yet, because it's very hard to kind of correlate this, is having it to where one major event affects all the titles at once. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right. So like it would be like when Null is coming to Earth, you have 20 different comic books of different titles that are covering how they're dealing with that situation. And that's something the movies can't do because of course the movies come out, 7 months, 8 months to whatnot. But of course, pre-coronavirus, movies were supposed to be coming out with TV shows accompanying them. I think it was like one movie per 2 Disney Plus shows, if I'm not mistaken. They were coming out I think like every 3 months, right? Every 3 months in gap, like one movie, TV show, movie, TV show in a 3 months gap between each other. That would have been fantastic. We wouldn't have had that opportunity to see so much more material. Of course, after coronavirus, it kind of makes it a hell of a lot more harder to kind of get our information. Of course, if we think about it, Doctor Strange 2 would have already been out this month if we were pre-corona, right? If we're pre-corona. Now it's been pushed back, I think, till May. I want to say about May, I think. So we're looking at 3 or 4 months from now, which I mean I'm glad to wait for. But with the opportunity of the multiverse, it gives us so much more opportunities into being able to see all these different teams and all these iterations. Now it's good that we got to talk about this, because if there's anything I like to do is I like to make sure that we inform the people who watch our show and the people who listen to us that don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype of all these people talking about that it's going to be the final Avengers movie. They're just blowing smoke. There's going to be more. There's just going to be different titles, but the teams will be constantly be almost the same. We have West Coast Avengers.
We have more. If you think about it, we're going to have more of these mashup team up movies. They make too much money. They generate too much money for them to not want to do them anymore. So,
anything they mash up is making it ridiculous. I saw today the announcement of the rumored appearance of Howard the Duck in the She-Hulk series. And I mean, that's a ridiculous crossover. I mean, we haven't seen Howard the Duck in a film since the late 80s, early 90s.
No, he was in Guardians.
Well, I mean, yeah, but as a spotlit character, not just a few minutes.
Yeah, not like a cameo.
Yeah.
Or like
and
an Easter egg.
Apparently in this show, he's going to have a huge role, some type of part. And that's the rumor. So we're seeing that they're taking characters that people traditionally don't think about and providing you that option. Mm-hmm. And I do think that we're going to start seeing, like Brian said, a ridiculous amount of money dump into giving you these crazy mashups because they bring you dollars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely, I 100% agree with that. And dealing with that, we're going to use that as a segue to talk about our next thing, talking about mashups, crazy crossovers. This week, we were given probably one of the coolest gifts in the sense of 2 TV spots or 1 TV spot and a trailer for the magnificent film that's going to be coming out called Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness. And we have a lot to talk about. Boys, did you guys get to see the trailers? What did you think? Tell me. What was your guys' interpretation?
Question is, how many times did you see it?
Shit, I saw it like fucking 40 times, man. I broke that shit so many times. I was sending you pictures. Like, you remember? I was going like frame by frame.
We having full-blown arguments in the chat. Like,
we are debating all month long, dude.
Go at it, bro. Yeah, Mike, how many times you watched the trailer?
I watched that trailer enough to theorize that the Professor X we're getting in this film is not Patrick Stewart from the X-Men movies, but Patrick Stewart from the animated series.
Yes, exactly. I heard that. I heard that theory too.
What the heck?
Yeah,
that's wild as fuck.
That would be fucking amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, because there's
now I got questions. Now I got chingos of questions.
Yes.
But before we get into that, breaking down the aspect of all the different parts, what were some of the things that you saw in the trailer that of course kind of more solidified on what you had an idea of the story was going to be, and what were the surprises of this episode or this trailer?
I'm just gonna wait before anyone says anything. I just want to say that every rumor that I heard or could possibly be a rumor is probably all true, dude. They're gonna do.
We can't even tell right now.
They're gonna.
Everything's true,
dude. They're going to do all that shit, and like how crazy that sounds to take rumors for gospel.
Yeah,
but it seems as though they sat in a room and said, "We're just going to
do everything.
We're
gonna do everything.
We're gonna do everything," and they're actually doing it. I am the most skeptical person on the face of the fucking planet, but every rumor that I've heard so far, it seems to be coming true. I told you, I don't know if it was on camera or off camera, weeks ago, that whole sequence with Wanda with the trees, it's a fucking illusion. That she's projecting that illusion so that Strange is not set off with anything. And it was confirmed in this trailer. Like I told you months ago that she's going to be the big bad. She's going to be the big bad.
Well, we have so we have a bunch of theories, right? Now there's two things that I heard. Okay, so breaking it down, we get this very, very interesting beginning shot, right? I mean, from what we remember. And it's him waking up out of bed and he's talking about how he had a dream, but every time he dreams, it turns into a nightmare and then the dream starts or some shit like that, right? Knowing that that's the first statement that comes out of his mouth reminded me that throughout all the crazy shit we talked about, Nightmare was the confirmed villain of this film. And I am so confused when I think about that because there is so much shit going on film right now. So, with Nightmare being confirmed as the villain, knowing that Wanda is going out there and starting the entire multiverse, and then we get that scene where it's two Wandas, one on the floor crying, the other one on the standing up. That looks like the WandaVision television show series Wanda, right? What is it that Brian, I'm going to ask you because this was your theory and you kind of hit it closer to any of us. When you saw that, what was your speculation on that whole entire process? Because you originally thought Wanda was the villain. Mm-hmm. But we're seeing on footage that there's two Wandas, one of them in costume, which is right after WandaVision's show, which is an awesome looking costume. In fact, it's a little bit different, but digressing. And we got literally a Wanda wearing like a Skid Row t-shirt and a fucking chill out bleeding all over the place. And she's the one that's kind of, fucking fighting everybody.
I kind of want to defer from that question because I kind of feel like I know the answer and I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
That's fine, man. That's what it's all about. It's just theories, man. I got theories too.
Okay. Well, if you guys, okay, fuck it. So I think that with Wanda being balls deep in the Darkhold, I think that now we know of Wanda as being a Nexus being, correct? But the whole objective of this movie is her trying to catch America Chavez so she can move to other dimensions. As she is right now, no matter how powerful she is, even though she is a Nexus being, she can't travel to other dimensions. So she is trying to look for American Chavez to go through other dimensions. And before she's able to do that, she is able to, I guess, possess the body of a different Wanda in a different dimension. And that's what we're seeing.
Do you remember what I told you?
Yes.
Remember the comic book? Remember all that shit that I showed you?
Yes. So that's what we're having here, is that she is basically possessing the body of another Wanda. Mm-hmm. And that's when she's able to take her. And again, I'll stop there, but that's what I'm hearing is what's going on. So that's how she is. That's why there's two Wandas in this shot that we saw there.
Interesting. Good call. That correlates back to, of course, the 90s Wanda comic book with Lure being the Nexus character that she can go through different multiverses, but she has to kind of possess the Wandas of that universe. Yeah. And then she can kind of casually use their powers. But using America Chavez is a very interesting concept. I never really thought of that one. So that's a cool call. I'm not gonna lie. Mike, what do you think?
And I have to agree. 1 second, guys. My sister's checking on my son. He fell asleep. All right. My baby passed out, guys. But no,
party time.
The idea of Wanda using America to do that is great. It correlates with the Exiles comic book and what they used America Chavez for in that book. Going out to the Age of Apocalypse, picking up that Sabretooth and, building her team that way, especially with Blink. But I do think we're going to see a lot more references to what if set up for us than what we're remembering. The idea of Strange waking up from that dream is literally how he was waking up every time he was becoming this supreme Dark Strange or whatever he's titled as.
Sorcerer, Dark Sorcerer Supreme Murder.
Yeah, so I do think Nightmare is the villain, sitting in the back, pulling strings, kind of the way we all were hoping Mephisto was doing it when WandaVision was happening. We were all poking and saying, "Oh, it's Mephisto," and it totally wasn't. It was Agatha all along, to quote the song. But I do think that's what's going to be happening here. We're going to have a puppet master, And I do think our massive cameo, I don't know, I guess if you've seen the trailer and you know the comic books, we know who Xavier's sitting with in those high chairs. So excuse me if it's spoilers for me, but I do think we're going to get the Illuminati here, and they're going to be aware that Nightmare is in the back doing this, and unable to stop him or something to that effect.
So I have I'm gonna I agree with the American Chavez. I agree with the Wanda being like this the lure character from the comics. I think it's a good story plot that they're going with. I think it's weird that they're not using Pandemonium as at least some type of villain, which was the dude who kind of initiated the children in the first place with Mephisto, or at least kind of giving some kind of recognition to it. For some reason, I get the vibes of when I'm watching it and what I'm seeing is two things. One, this is going to be a mixture of the Incursions comic book.
1,000.
And instead of the Incursions banging into each other, the Incursion is Lure, Wanda destroying the multiverses. And of course, in the process of it, after Loki destroyed the man at the end of time, or the person who sits at the end, and opening up the multiverse, it gives these possibilities of Wanda to really go to any of these different places and them to kind of go crazy. So this aspect of the way you say the Illuminati, I'm not really for it as much as a lot of people are. Now, the reason why I'm not for it is because I'm a strong believer in that every time Marvel does this, they lose the opportunity of using it later. Now, Brian and I talked about this earlier. He has a really good comment too to make on that. But if they bring the Illuminati out right now, it destroys the idea of how the Illuminati was created in the comic books. Now, I get it. There's a lot of people out there that are doing what normies do. And everyone's like, yeah, the fucking Illuminati. Yeah. And it's like, but you don't know what the Illuminati are. Like all of those people that are sitting in those chairs was supposed to represent humankind in some major form of humanity. You know, science, math, or people, or Inhumans, or all this stuff. We still have not established Inhumans, even with what Kamala Khan coming out. They really haven't even established the idea of the Terrigen Mist or Inhumans or anything in general like that.
Yeah, the closest thing we have is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that's technically not canon anymore.
Yeah, it's not canon. And then we have the Inhumans TV show that got shit on because it failed completely miserably. But the other thing that I don't correlate with is it being like, I'm not really going to say it's the Illuminati. I know what they're going for because I get the idea of it being to look like the Illuminati, but I don't think it is. What I think it is I think it's the life raft of the Future Foundation. And I think it's the one between the Incursion that Reed Richards created to save as many as the people as he can, which in that rope, of course, had the two Spider-Man Miles and Spider-Man Peter Parker. It had Captain Marvel, which gives you that opportunity to have a Captain Marvel.
Chris, you were doing so good, bro. You were going, I think we got maybe like 2 episodes in without you mentioning Miles Morales, bro.
Hey, dude, it happened. Of course, they're not going to bring in Spider-Man into this one. But what I think, and this is funny, this is where I think it's hilarious. A lot of people are expecting to see Charles Xavier, which you guys are saying, I think it's cool. The 90s variation. I think that's cool. I really think it's not, though. I think it's the Patrick Stewart variation from Days of Future Past.
Okay.
I think it's
they're in the game, basically.
The future one, not the one that Wolverine resets time and it goes back to him being Charles again, and then it goes back into weird shit. No, just the old school, the cool pop collar, the future variation of Age of Apocalypse. Because I thought the long-haired character would be Age of Apocalypse Cyclops. Do you remember that one, the one with the long hair and the one eye?
Yeah, the missing eye.
Yeah, the missing eye. I thought it would be that one, but the accompanying X-Men that's going to be with him is probably going to be Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Okay.
I think we're totally getting Deadpool in this movie.
He's going to probably be the Wolverine pushing the chair guy. You know what I mean? Like the way they had in Logan. Because everybody's expecting to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I don't think we're going to get in this. I think we may get it in some type of like go-through, like the way they did in the First Class movies, where he just like they walked up to him in a bar and he's like "fuck you" or whatever.
They told him to fuck off.
I think we'll end up getting one of those cameos again. But I think Ryan Reynolds Deadpool would be a hilarious matchup with Charles Xavier, like to see them bounce off of each other for that moment. But the reason why I think it would be Deadpool is because Deadpool of the 616, he dies in that universe with his daughter. I don't know if you remember. They were on like a yacht and he gets like the whole entire, like in the comic book, like he dies in that aspect. Well, the thing is I think every one of those characters has to be a throwaway character. Because we no doubt believe that Wanda's going to tank all of them.
She's wrecking shop. Everyone's dying.
So
Everyone's dying, yo.
One, I believe it to be the life raft, but two, I believe it to be like an imperialistic community by Age of Ultron Tony Stark, which is going to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah, the superior Iron Man.
The superior Iron Man. And that's the one who, of course, I ship the idea of him fighting Wanda in that one scene. I know Brian, you got we'll talk about it right now. But let me explain why I think it's superior Spider-Man or superior Iron Man. The reason why is because in that whole entire aspect, Tony Stark, superior Iron Man, would probably choose to be the head of the Illuminati in that aspect. He would be the dude. And in that prospect, he, in all aspects, think he can take on Wanda because in his world, he did. Like when he created Ultron, Ultron would have taken out Wanda and Pietro because they were the ones that were the villains of that storyline at that time. Showed him the whole world being destroyed, all of that stuff in the dream and all of that stuff. And he's going to turn it into like this authoritarian aspect. And all the other people on the Illuminati casting seats, like the other characters, are all refugees from other universes, multiverses. And that's why it's a life raft. So that's my call. And that can bring in, of course, I know there's so far pretty much on file. We know Charles Xavier, Reed Richards is still up in the air. But we know Peggy Carter, Captain Carter from the What If series is going to be there. Like we know for sure those two are there. We know Mordo is there, which I thought it was Blade, which I thought would have been cool, but there has to be
the token.
So those three characters, Reed Richards,
yeah, and Chewbacca couldn't make the cameo here.
Chewbacca couldn't make it, and just having more than one was just going to be
dude. It's just fucking throw everybody in that list.
All types of mayhem. So
but we have the thing more. If we're going to reference the Illuminati, we at least need the people of the team, or at least someone who's themed in it. If you think about it, so one, we have Iron Man, superior Iron Man, Reed Richards, which a lot of people are thinking it's the Fox Reed Richards.
Which I'd be happy with. I mean, I think
I'd be cool with it. I'd be cool. He was cool. And he's about the right age right now to play that older Reed Richards. Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart. Baron Mordo would be the Doctor Strange, the magic user, sitting at the head as the magic person that represents magic of their community. So that's the fourth member. And then you have Captain Britain, who Captain America was also a member of the Illuminati before he got his mind erased by Doctor Strange. So that leaves one more chair. So it would either be one, theorized Black Panther, two, theorized Black Bolt.
Well, because the original Illuminati were Professor Xavier, Namor, Black Panther, Iron Man, Reed Richards, and Black Bolt. That's it, right?
And Doctor Strange.
And Doctor Strange. Yeah, so I can see where you're saying that we would get those replacement figures, because that's what we're getting. No. But I do think that even if we did the raft theory that you're going with, and that they need to be throwaway characters, that we could actually have representatives of the original comic book Illuminati and have our Doctor Strange come back to the MCU with this idea that, hey, the Illuminati made sense to me.
Yes.
So maybe we need to pull these characters here.
Me and Brian talked about that too, and I think that's what's probably going to end up happening.
Yeah, because we're going to eventually see Secret Wars happen, and then we have Secret Invasion coming up as well, which has one of my favorite lines anywhere in the comic books that Nick Fury says. But we're going to see these secret battles happening, so a secret head of state, if you will, behind the scenes as the Illuminati would make sense in our MCU going forward. I mean, who that's going to be, I don't know. If we use like the Black Bolt from the Inhuman series, I mean, I think he was a good actor as Black Bolt. That series was written horribly, but I think he did a great job of portraying that character.
I think the cast was pretty good overall. But Brian, the reason why I want to go back to Brian is because he was theorizing a different character in the Illuminati cast.
Yeah.
Right? And I want you to touch base because because there is a lot of people that are on the same boat as you. And I really want to know, of course, I want to know why, and I want to know how you think it would go down that way. Hey, Chrissy, we are talking about right now the Doctor Strange 2 trailer that dropped during the Super Bowl. We're theorizing and breaking down a lot of the aspects and what it could be coming into. So right now we're talking about the Easter egg in the cast of who we believe the Illuminati is going to be portraying in the film.
So I will answer that question and present it as a question to Mike. Being that you're new here, you're gonna be the actual deciding factor.
Yeah, you're gonna be the mediator.
This is something that me and Chris have been just going back and forth on about this for a couple of days now, right? So obviously we're talking about the scene where it looks like there is a in my eyes, a cosmic being attacking Wanda, and everybody swears that it is the what is it, Superior Iron Man?
Yeah, a flying energy character.
Yeah,
right.
But in my eyes, I believe it's a cosmic being, and so it's been theorized that it is not Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, but actually her mom, Maria Rambeau, in a different alternate universe, actually obtains the powers of Captain
photon abilities. Yeah,
exactly, and it's not Carol Danvers. It's not actually Carol Danvers that gets the powers of Captain Marvel. What do you say to that, and who do you think it is in that scene attacking Wanda?
So I love that theory, and I think that'd be beautiful because we could get the whole phase of Captain Marvel that is Warbird, and her being cosmically charged, having that flame and look. The only downside I see to it, and where my mind is going with it, is I do think that's the Superior Iron Man wielding to the Infinity Stones, because he gets them.
Fuck, I didn't even think of an Infinity Stone.
So he wields. I think it's the Power Stone, and I can't remember which other stone it is, but he does wield a pair of them in his Extremis weird armor that he got with that weird crown thing on top of his head. Mm-hmm. So I do think that we are going to get Superior Iron Man doing that fight, and I believe it's placed in position with another cosmic being that we haven't looked into. That's an X-Men villain, technically. That I think we see in the comic, which is Sidorak, because we see this ribbon-faced crimson character, and that's the demon or creature that powers the Juggernaut with the crimson bands of Sidorak, and even Doctor Strange calls upon him to bind monsters and bind creatures. So I do think that's something we're going to see there, and that's why it's so red. That's why that weird banded-faced creature is there. My theory is that the Superior Iron Man is charged with the Infinity Stones and is trying to rock some shit, and Wanda's going face to face with him.
See, that's crazy. The reason why I thought, because everybody's biggest thing is why would they glow orange, right? And that's what a lot of people are going on the power base. My theory, this is just on what it is that we know that the Superior Iron Man's costume is a mixture of nano machines made by the Extremis program, which was done in Iron Man 3. And it's very symbiotic like. So it acts the same way Venom's Venom suit is, right? But the reason why I think it would be orange is because a lot of people don't know this. You really have to read the comic book. But Superior Iron Man's costume is usually blue, but it glows red when he's angry. It's actually accustomed to his emotional level. When he's blue, he's chill, but when he's powered up and he's pissed, it actually glows red. And it glows red with the aspect of the Extremis. And if we look at the way the Extremis acts in Iron Man 3, it glows like lava and fire, where a lot of people thought it was the Human Torch. There were some people that came out and thought it was the Human Torch originally, that this guy was going to be the Human Torch because of the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards, which, I mean, fuck, I'll ship on that too.
No, out of left field. What if all this is just a bullshit turnaround and we end up with Galactus with Human Torch as his herald?
Oh shit!
Yeah, Jesus Christ, dude. You literally, like, I've thought of every way that this could be just like this was all a dream. Like, dude, he didn't even go anywhere. And I was like, oh Jesus, fuck! Don't even do this to me, man. You know,
know
I
what?
actually want to go back to one of the things that Brian said earlier.
Okay, because I want to go to something
Someone,
I said before. Go ahead.
okay, sorry about that. So I will get to that. Someone had theorized something that you literally were like that close to, which was the tree thing, where you said that all of it was an illusion. Someone theorized that actually all of those trees are all
It's
the
the multiverse.
branches of the multiverse.
I said that. Yeah.
Yeah. But the ones that she's cutting is the one that she's already fucking up. Like every one that she cuts is one she destroys.
She destroys.
She
Yeah.
destroys it.
No,
And I was like, holy fuck, Brian, like almost hit that right on the top.
No, I did
Legit
hear that.
prophecies, man.
I did hear. No, it's not a prophecy. I'm telling you, dude. I'm like balls deep in this shit. Like I've been reading.
He's
spoilers.
good. I'm not even lying.
We're reading spoilers all like the past year. But no, like that's what they're saying is that the trees are representing the multiverse, and she's going around pruning it. She's going around taking down these universes, and this is her doing it in her own like tranquil way.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that I think is different is we all know that the scene changes, but Doctor Strange is in the same suit when he's in that forest area. I think she's just going to change the area around herself to show him what the world would look like, or what it would look like without him or without her, because she's going to do the same thing she did to Tony Stark without going into his mind, but actually changing the environment around her. That's
what
I
think matches her comic book powers a little bit more, you know, her changing reality
around him. Yeah. And that's why she's giving him that speech like, well, when you do something,
you're a hero.
You're a hero, but when I do it, I'm a villain. I mean, that's a great story point to hit. Great story.
I just wanted to before you continue,
go for it, bro.
I just wanted to double back to something that Mike said, which I think is something that's been kind of on my mind for ever since WandaVision, actually. And it was Mike had said, you know what, I'm getting really heavy what if vibes from this trailer, right? Because you are. And I remember specifically Kevin Feige when Disney Plus first launched. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Disney Plus first launched and the announcements of these MCU series were coming out, what did he say? He said, you don't have to watch these to know exactly what we're doing moving forward in the MCU. He specifically said that. That was a fucking lie. Like you have to watch all that shit to know where we're going in this specific movie. Even if you thought you could slack and not watch What If, no, bro, you better watch that shit now because you're getting that in this movie.
So yeah, I was gonna say, like, What If is like a precursor to the thing, because I don't know if you guys caught this. When Doctor Strange is holding on to America Chavez and they're falling through that dinosaur area.
There's an animated.
Did you see the fucking animated background?
That's why my theory is that Professor X we're getting is from the animated series. This is what X-Men program is coming back.
That's literally Who Framed Roger Rabbit, dude. Yeah, the last time I saw some shit like that was like Cool World, where like you have a human person in an animated world.
If I don't get a rogue in a green and yellow outfit, I'm gonna be really pissed at this fucking.
I was fucking tripping balls, dude. That background that they're falling through looks like the one when Spider-Man are pointing at each other.
Yeah,
it looks like that. I was so like,
and so that's just why I take like he says, like when he, like even our last topic when he says that we're not getting another Avengers. Listen, I'm done listening to this fucking guy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you have a whole bunch of people running around thinking that they're just gonna watch fucking Doctor Strange without watching any of the shows and be perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, you're not. Yeah, there's no way.
My only counterpoint to that concept where Feige says you don't have to watch everything is in every family, guys. There's that one asshole that's seen every single movie, and their family members will say, "What's happening?" Oh, well, this is what's going on, and they're gonna nerd out real hard. My mother knows that she doesn't have to watch anything. All she has to do is like wait for Michael to show up, sit down, and I'll explain, you know, the last 10 years of Marvel product to her in one shot.
I got you, fam. I got you, fam. So, okay. So again, Mike, you referenced this earlier, but it's a little bit different now. We talk about Shuma Gorath. So, Brian's probably gonna have to explain this because I still hate it with all my heart. It's apparently not Shuma Gorath because of the rights with Conan the Barbarian, not with any other program.
Correct.
So apparently it's going to be Gargantos.
Yeah, so Gargantos technically operates like Shuma Gorath, but due to a naming disputes and copyright issues with Conan the Barbarian utilizing that character's name. They can't name him Shumagorath, but it should, in essence, operate the same exact way.
Fuck Conan the Barbarian. Those guys, they haven't
And
made
not only
anything
that, but it's
prosperous in the
probably-
last
it's
5
probably
years.
for the best. Like these demons that we're seeing, they're just like props, dude. Like they're not going to be as big of a part, like power wise, in this movie as you think. Like originally, we thought Shumagorath was going to be the main villain because.
Well, I'm
he's
about
so
to throw a
cool.
curveball on you guys, man. I'm
'Cause
about to throw the biggest curveball on you guys.
We thought
that
that he was going to be OP, but honestly, they're just pawns. They're tools in this movie. They're not going to be OP. Like they're just tools in this movie.
So the reason why I think that Wanda plays such a huge role in the major like idea of her being like a villain, like you say, is because the lore character is not gonna be lore. It's not gonna be Wanda. It's gonna be Chthon. I think Chthon has found a way to possess a Wanda, but all of the major nightmare gods are all fighting to find America Chavez. They're all fighting. You have Chthon and you have some variant of Shumagorath, all going after the same person. And the reason why is because all of these major demons are all fighting to be that Kang level, universe creator kind of slapping destroyer thing. They're all fighting for it, but Chthon is the original person that gives Wanda her powers. It's who she gets magic from. It's the person who created the Darkhold. It's literally everything. And I think Chthon is going to be the person that's going to be that major villain. I don't think it's going to be Nightmare. What do you guys think?
I don't know. We
Because
there are a lot of characters that we would need to place before.
You have Sidorak.
That's too left field. Like,
but this is the thing. You have a character like, okay, it's not Shumagorath, and the reason why they can't use Shumagorath is because of outside the Marvel universe law. But they can take Gargantos and be like, "Yo, name change."
But see, I don't think that's it. I think even if it was Shumagorath, it was going to. I'm telling you, they're not going to be as big of part of this movie as you think they're going to be. They're pawns. They're tools.
But nonetheless, they are still the gods of those. They're the cosmic gods of those
demons.
realms.
They're going to be demons, and it's going to be the same demons that we saw in the What If Doctor Strange episode. These aren't gods. These are just demons.
If you think about it, they are the many-angled ones. Like that's a god, and if you look at it.
I get
even the bands of Sidorak, the same spell that is used by Doctor Strange to grab Thanos, the same one that gives Juggernaut power.
That with what Brian's point of view at this is we're going to get the MCU watered down version of these creatures to facilitate a storyline that we're going to see dimension hopping, and each new dimension is been overrun by something either Wanda did or whoever the main villain is going to be did. Mm-hmm. And as America's taking Doctor Strange from universe to universe to universe and hopping, we'll get our Shumagorath, we'll get our original Nightmare, we'll pop into, the dimension that is Sidorak's dimension and realm, and we'll start seeing all these things to start enforcing this idea that if there is no one in place to be this wall, this protectorate or whatever, that these things do take over. And
because we do have to take into consideration what Kang did in the Doctor Strange world with that big storm creature.
Yeah.
Right? That creature, that demon, it's a cosmic entity that had its own realm and its own territory that it controlled.
Mm-hmm. And which by far had one of my favorites, and deaths of a character.
Oh, dude,
that was supposed to be a minor character.
Loki.
Yeah, just glorious purpose. I was like, yes,
that was amazing. That was seriously one of the most amazing things on the planet.
Yeah, I was on a beach vacation with the family doing a family reunion, and my fiance and I were just sitting there in the room watching. And I don't know how many times I shouted "glorious purpose" at the beach. I looked like an idiot, but man, did that line hit.
I bet you everyone on the beach knew because everyone was watching that fucking show, dude.
Everyone
was watching the show.
Can we get to Rob's question? I think it's a pretty good question to ask.
This one? Oh, not that one.
Yeah, that one.
Not the big boobs. He's talking about Cool World.
It's a requirement for Rogue if that's what we're going to get.
Question: do you think it's going to sell out like Spider-Man, like super quick because of the multiverse. I
100%.
honestly think this is going to surpass Spider-Man.
Yeah, I really do.
I think Spider-Man gave us a good idea on what the multiverse could do for a fandom and for people that don't really understand what's going on, but they know they'll get something from their past. The nostalgia will hit. Spider-Man set that into stone. So now with rumors of Professor X and Wolverine, maybe Deadpool here, maybe people are like, well, I better get my tickets now so I can catch my nostalgia before everybody else does it and gets it ruined. Because nothing was more frustrating to me, and I know we'll get to it later. The Peacemaker spoiler that dropped, and I woke up like at 7 a.m. and I opened Facebook and it was ruined before I could even watch the damn episode. And I was like, oh man. So we're gonna have that race to the finish, and people are going to devour these tickets. And then the rest of us normies that can't purchase those tickets for midnight because I'm too old to stay up that late these days are gonna have to wait and stay off Facebook for a couple days.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get on that shit real fucking quick. Like the moment that shit pops, I'm getting tickets. That's not even a fucking joke.
Yeah, I honestly think I think it may be stupid to say out loud, but I honestly think this is gonna make more money than Spider-Man. And people were so shocked. Why would you put Professor X in the trailer? Well, because you want to sell fucking tickets. So that's why you do it. So you put him in the trailer, and boom, you're probably gonna have a recipe for success. So,
well, I mean, yeah, like having Charles Xavier come out in a film, in any Marvel film, that's gonna blow minds. It's gonna
it's not even that. It's the significance of showing Professor X. What does that insinuate? That we have fucking mutants walking around somewhere, now we're getting them in the MCU. So that's all people were waiting for.
And this
which honestly ties. Sorry, Chris.
Go for it, brother.
Before I lose a train of thought, it ties into the comics and what they're going to be doing this summer, where the Eternals are now realizing that they were supposed to have eradicated all deviants from the planet Earth, and they realize they missed some, which are the race of mutants. So, Eternals to set into place deviants and these other creatures that could possibly mate and procreate. So we could get the Eternals setting the place of in the MCU for mutants.
And you know what's even crazier than that? I really think that overall the aspect of this is going to be a giant calamity at the end of this, where Wanda is going to do the unthinkable and smash all of these different worlds together. Like, that's my thing. And this is that battle world concept after Incursions.
I will not accept Battle World until we have Victor Von Doom.
No, well,
but I do want to shed light on the Polar Knight's comment here. Apparently, we had a perfect evolution.
That was funny. My guy, oh man, it's so good. The stubble.
That was funny as hell.
My weird beard. It never grows from the cheeks, man. Weird, man. Weird Indian guy like that.
But Michael, I do think we are getting Victor Von Doom very soon.
Actually, as a matter of fact,
but I want Victor Von Doom with very thick ass accent.
Yo, this isn't even weird. If they go with the Future Foundation, and this is the life raft that the Future Foundation created to survive the collapse of the multiverse, Doom is sitting on the Illuminati.
If they show me Victor Von Doom sitting on one of those fucking, I am literally going to lose my shit in the middle of that fucking movie theater.
You can.
I'll be honest. If we get that, and Sam Raimi says he wants,
I 100% believe we're getting a. I 100% if we're getting a Reed Richards, we are getting a Dr. Doom. Because this is the only other thing that I think people do not realize. If this is not the Illuminati, this is Marvel's way. Instead of doing the Illuminati and they're sidetracking us, this is actually the Cabal.
Oh, I would like to see that.
And that's where people. This is the reading comic books part. The Cabal was from the Incursion, and it was Thanos' team.
Didn't the Ultimate Universe Reed Richards? I can't remember what
they had Namor on it.
But he's
Namor,
a
after
villain.
He blew up the fucking world. He blew up the Ultimate. So the first world that came into that Black Panther saw, he blows up that world, and then Namor's like, "Sorry guys, fuck it. Like I'm gonna go join Thanos and kill a bunch of people." But the thing is I don't think Marvel's gonna touch Thanos again. Not for a good while. I mean, in the What If episode, they fucking tanked him in one shot. So I think that saga is complete and done. I was so mad. He's full of Jello or fucking whatever he's made of. He's just got pudding. He's got no meat, got no blood. He's just pudding.
It goes to prove a point that, I mean, Thanos is not the Grimace, and nothing can stop the Grimace. So we're gonna have to deal with that.
Fucking why was Ultron scared of him if he could just laser him in half, dude? Fuck a duck. But okay, I digress. Way digress. If this is an evil version of the Illuminati, which I mean, the Illuminati is a bunch of piece of shit guys, anyways.
Yeah.
They want to control the planet and do it behind the scenes and not let anybody. That's exactly why Blue Marvel hated the fuck out of him, and I love Blue Marvel. Adam Brashear is the man. This would be their variation of the Cabal, which is a bunch of asshole variations of people wanting to survive, but that are not willing to kill a group of other people to survive. So yeah, I mean, we could be getting super sidetracked by us being like, oh, there's Charles Xavier. Oh, he's so cool. And it'd be a really evil fucking version of Charles Xavier. Like the piece of shit Illuminati version that fucked over, like, I don't know, Cyclops and everybody. And I mean,
it could be the X-Men. I think it's Grant's run, or I can't remember whose run it is, where Xavier has a clone, Cassandra Nova, and she's just the female evil version of him.
Oh no, that was his real sister, but he kills her in the womb, or he doesn't kill her in the womb. They fist fight in the womb, and he wins. And she's like an aborted baby that survives.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the weirdest shit ever.
Yeah,
she kills him. Yeah, that's I mean, there's that's the cool thing is like there's so many variants that they could go with. And I know that a lot of people are jumping at the idea of this being the Illuminati because, I mean, why not? It's the first thing you see when you bring all of these people together. But what if the Cabal is what Strange sees first and then says, well, we need something to battle that, and then makes the Illuminati from there. Makes something and says it's going to be better, but of course, having an authoritarian view in that situation doesn't make anything better.
Well, it's like the old saying, the road to hell's paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that could be a really good process. It's just, I told you guys I was going to shoot you guys some wild fucking ideas, man. Wild ideas.
Nothing,
but I think
what I already fucking heard, to be honest with you. I've heard some wild fucking shit out there already.
I really, really think that at the end of this series, we're going to get a opposite of what Wanda does in the House of M, which instead of saying no more mutants, it's going to be that aspect of like no more Avengers. Or
I think
no more
honestly, that's where we're headed immediately. I think this is just a jump. I think this is just going to be a launching pad for Wanda. I don't think this is the last that we're going to see from her. I don't think we're going to get a resolve by the end of this movie. If we
no, not at all.
It'll be a soft one, but I do think we are heading towards the House of M. And speaking of which, I wanted to touch on what Rob is talking about when he says the zombies. My God, there was a different Super Bowl edited trailer that played during the halftime of the Super Bowl itself,
which is the first one that I saw. Yeah,
the TV spot.
I missed that one. I didn't see that one. I had to go to YouTube to see the actual extended cut. But when I actually got around to watching the Super Bowl edited one, I was like, holy shit. Like they're really leaning heavily on what if, and like that whole fucking whatever 6, 7, 8 episodes it was, like they're really touching on that in this live action movie. And I think that's fucking amazing.
So the cool part is we have that one Wanda that's slowly deteriorating. And apparently the theory was that was the astral projected version of her that is slowly being consumed by the Darkhold. Which I was like, hey, you know what? That's not a bad call. That's not a bad call. But my biggest question from that was, what about the zombie Doctor Strange? Because that dude doesn't look like he's fucking around. Like that guy does not look like he's looking like he knows some shit. If you break it down and you look at it, that Doctor Strange is the Defender Doctor Strange. That's the first one in the first part. That's, you know, the cool ass back hair.
Yeah.
Who, to me, we talked about this last week very little. Looks like the Battle World Secret Wars variant of Doctor Strange that's with Goddamn Sheriff Strange. I don't know if you remember that variant from the Secret Wars comic. The one that gives like Black Panther
Strange too. Yeah, we got a lot of weird variants in that Battle World.
He's one of the three, which is the original Doom, the original Doctor Strange, and the Owen Reese or the Molecule Man. He ends up being the sheriff who ends up later on being killed by Doctor Doom. But the costume is very similar to that. But of course, like it's kind of got that badass looking like 80s superhero vibe to it too. It's got all that cool pleather and real porn starish mustache and beard. So I mean, I'm for it. He looks amazing. I think it's cool. But
Which I didn't think I was here tonight. That Chris was for an 80s porn star mustache.
yeah, dude, who's not? Man, that's like those guys were heroes, weren't they?
Listen, I know everyone's cool in the comics and shit, but when it comes to this movie, do not get attached to anybody that you meet in this fucking movie.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get tanked, dude. Anybody that's not on the original roster is getting fucking dreamed, man.
Don't get too attached to anybody you meet in this fucking movie. They're all
well. The interesting thing about it is, like, even in the trailer, you see that Doctor Strange, the Defender Strange, gets fucking tanked. Yeah. Like he's floating dead on arrival, kind of like scratches across his face and everything. I'm guessing he was trying to protect America Chavez from the Sidorak character, right? It's right after that scene. But in that aspect, it looks like his body lands in some like frozen wasteland and then gets possessed. And that's when he starts changing and looking at himself. And then later on, he does like that Arms of Agamotto shit that he did in the Thanos fight scene. But what I thought was very interesting were all the Death Eaters that are around him, like all the spirits and stuff. Because that's not really something that Doctor Strange kind of like doesn't copiate with those kind of things. He doesn't really bring those kind of characters out or bring those things. And then them be kind of symbiotic in his cape. If you look at his cape, it's got skulls and stuff like that. But I think that is a possessed version of Doctor Strange who is Nightmare.
You know, and I could give credence to that because the last time in comics, and it's a throwback, that we saw something like that was when Blackheart, the son of Mephisto, was fighting the Midnight Suns trying to get up onto Earth. And that's the effect he would do to like when he would possess Logan or he would possess Punisher or whatever. Yeah. Manwolf even got possessed in one of the books, and he had that dark shadow of demon kind of things behind him when he would make movements. I
kind of got that vibe from that. And if that would be the case, it's kind of like Nightmare has found a way to do what Wanda was doing and him be like the strongest of those demon variants we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I do want to pick up something that Vince Weaver's talking. Vince, I pray to God that evil does not happen because Wong is one a badass character. And two,
he's grown on me. I wasn't a big fan, but he's grown.
I don't think Wong will die because I do believe that he's the one training the Thunderbolts.
Vince Weaver asked, do you think, ooh, Mike, Jesus Christ, get me hard. Do you think Wong will get killed off in this film? Yeah, I don't think so. I think a variant might, but I think everybody's variants are going to get fucking murdered off of this.
Sure, I think my variant was murdered in this movie at this point.
My biggest thing is, holy fuck, who else are they planning to bring?
All right, so I was going to ask you guys this. With the height of the last MCU movie.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Let's say the Spider-Man.
Do we get a Spider-Man, and which one is it going to be?
Toby.
Straight up.
Yeah,
has to be
Toby. Gonna die.
Yeah,
I think Wanda fucking nukes his ass.
If I was Marvel right now with as much hype as Spider-Man got and where Venom is sitting at, even though Carnage wasn't a great film, it still had its fan base, and even I enjoyed aspects of it. It was a fun movie. I do think we're going to get a setting where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, is in Venom's universe, and that's where we're going to get the Spider-Man Venom battle.
I think so. That's a good call.
Yeah, so I don't think Andrew's going to be a big loss here. I do think we lose Toby. Toby, he's aging out in real life. You know, they fixed his back in the last movie. So we're going to see him kick as much ass in this movie as possible, and he'll go out.
But straight up, even with that, like Tobey Maguire as an actor, you know, he just doesn't want this to come back for whatever it was Kevin Feige promised him. Like everyone's gonna be like, yeah, I just want to see them do something with my kid. Fuck you, bro. You want to get paid $1 million, dude?
Well, Alfredo Molina said it best. No, they asked everybody else what come back. Yes, it's for the money. Yeah,
but you know what? I can see Molina coming back for several movies.
I would love to see
Molina come back as
an older Doc Ock. Yeah, even in the comics, Doc Ock was an older cat. He wasn't young and sprite.
That's why I'm saying I can see him coming back and staying there for a bit. But Toby, I can see him coming back for a cameo like this, and then coming out in the next one and getting splattered somewhere. Like he'll be like, "Yeah, dude, just kill off my character. I really don't want to wear these tights or whatever."
You just
Like
gonna
I can see
retire
that. I
to
can
Chad
literally
Kroger
see that.
singing Hero in the background.
What's that?
He's gonna retire to Chad Kroger singing Hero in the background.
Yeah, dude, I would. Yeah, dude, that would be so cool if every time he came in, they just played.
Fucking
And
throw up.
there's a
I'd
hero.
throw up, bro. Are you kidding me?
No, that would be fucking horrible, dude.
Yeah,
We talked about this. We literally talked about this after the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I really think that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is the actual Spider-Man of the movie universe. I think Tom
So he's
Holland's
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
Prime.
is gonna die. Like he's gonna die. Like that's just what it is because they're gonna bring in Miles. That's just what it is. And Andrew Garfield's character was so much closer to the 616 Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Toby Maguire. Did I say Toby Maguire? I hope I didn't. Andrew Garfield's was the 616. Toby's
he
was
lost
the-
Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, it's Toby's was the one that was closer to the Spider-Man who's gonna turn into like a real spider. Like get the fucking 6 arms, that weird ass fucking comic
Man
book from back
Spider,
in the day.
yeah.
Yeah, Man Spider. He'll be that one. But the Tom Holland is like this handsome young dude, perfect physique, cool kid in school.
Well,
You
if we
know-
look at it at the comics point of view, I can see Andrew Garfield being 616. He's our main Spider. Toby being some weird off multiverse, God knows what universe that is, and Toby being that offshoot, and Tom Holland being the ultimate universe Spider-Man.
Yeah, straight
Because
up.
the ultimate universe, he was better looking. He worked
He was
for
season 2, man. He
Yeah.
was like a hero.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he took the. I mean, I don't think it's spoilers anymore. It's been like 7, 8, maybe 10
man,
years already. Yeah, I mean, he took the bullet for Captain America and bled out after fist fighting fucking Green Goblin alone. I mean, and that's where we got our Miles from. You know, Miles Morales came from the Ultimate Universe, taking up the mantle, becoming the new Ultimate Spider-Man. And yeah, I do think that's a possibility.
I think moving forward, I should have like a little tally either in the corner somewhere.
how many times I mentioned Mace Windu or Miles?
How many times either Mace Windu or Miles Morales is said in an episode? I want to see how high we can get. Like I should.
I'm gonna say it until
Just
it
'cause-
happens.
What's
because then
going
people
to
are gonna
happen
reference
is
me.
that new Spider-Man game's going to come out, and it's going to be every other statement. Yeah, it's
Forget
over
about
right there.
That's
Forget
hilarious.
about it.
It's just one of those things like
I do
he's-
like Robert's comment here, and it is very, very true to the point of the comic books that Andrew Garfield is the first Spider-Man to be sarcastic, and that's important in the comic books, especially in 616. You know, I remember him calling Green Goblin smiley and snacky, and you know, mouthing off every 3 seconds because he was nervous as shit, and he was horrified that he was doing his job and dealing with it through humor.
It's just one of those things. Like right now, it's the perfect setup.
Yeah.
That's just what it is right now. Right now, the Spider-Man intro for a Miles character, it's perfectly set up. It's perfectly set up.
If Miles shows up in this, I'm gonna pop for you. Like if I'm in the movie theater and fucking Miles Morales shows up somewhere,
Yo,
I'm gonna be thinking of you first and foremost. I'm like, yo, he's gonna
straight
be the
hood
happiest fucker on the planet.
Can
bro.
you imagine if during the not Captain America Chavez Strange grapple through the multiverse, she pops through the Spider-Verse cartoon in Sony?
Oh,
That would be fucking legit.
I mean,
I
it's
don't
a
see why
possibility.
they wouldn't now. I really don't.
Yeah, especially with
agree with you.
Miguel O'Hara running around the timeline because, of course,
That would be
he's
bad.
fixed his time jumping thing, so it can happen.
That would
I
be
do
fun.
agree with you guys. I do think that we will get one of the. I don't know which one it's going to be, but we will get a Spider-Man in this movie. I do agree with you guys.
Yeah, I think so too. Guys, what else? Who else do you think or would be proper to have as a next cameo in this film?
I did see a theory out there, and I don't subscribe to this one. This one I don't believe, but I did hear that you could get a variant of Killmonger, but as Black Panther.
I mean, it's not too far fetched from the What If episode, so it's not too far fetched, and it still gives into the realm of
If
What are
if
they
I was
planning on
Marvel,
doing?
especially since we lost Chadwick
Mhm.
to cancer, I would take this opportunity to set up Shuri as Black Panther.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, she ran it for a little while in the comic books. I mean, one of my favorite authors, Jonathan Maberry, wrote some of those issues, and I do think it would be the opportune time. I mean, we saw Killmonger and what he did as Black Panther, and we know he's a villain.
He's a
no matter
villain.
what, yeah, he believes he's good, and he wholeheartedly believes it, but he does horrible things. So I think Shuri would be the next best thing. You know, she would look at it the same way Reed and Tony and Doom and everybody else would look at it. This is a scientific safety net for what remains of their race, of their people.
I'll tell you
the
what.
Renacide idea would fit here better, I think.
Pop off. Give me your top 3 variants or universes you would like to see appear in this film. We already got some wild ass fucking Easter egg cameos just in a goddamn trailer. So right now, with Charles Xavier being on the table, all bets are off.
Mutants.
You can get anybody.
Yeah, mutants are
Yeah,
here.
you can literally shoot for anybody. Mike and Brian, who would be your go-to top 3 to 5 characters you would want to see in this in some way to be introduced to the cinematic universe? I'll pop off first. 1, at least some type of universe jump through for the Squadron Supreme.
Oh shit!
Straight gangster. Hyperion's my dude. He survived so many iterations of the destructions of his multiverse. There's no reason DC can't get it right, so Marvel will show him how it's done and bring in their version of the Justice League that's Injustice style.
Fuck
That's
around and
my
cast
call.
Henry Cavill as Hyperion, and that'd be something.
Ooh, don't even start. Oh, that'd be nuts. Oh no, dude, I was slapping the face. Okay, boys.
I don't know. I mean, since hey man, fuck it, mutants are here. So, but I don't know if he would give me Wolverine, dude. I gotta have some type of version of Wolverine in there, dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if,
No,
if
I
I'm
get that.
casting it, I'm getting some type of version of Wolverine. Apocalypse was one of my favorite villains growing up. So if you can
Not
throw
movie though.
in there. No, not that. Yeah, fuck that movie. I don't know. Oh, you know what? You know who I want to see that I just haven't seen a proper representation of? Bishop.
Straight.
get-
Now, do you ship on the idea of it being Ice Cube? He really came out and said he wanted it.
No, man.
Okay.
We can find someone better than fucking Ice, bro.
But what about the guy that played
Maybe it's
in the
blasphemous
Disney
me
Plus?
saying it, but if we do Bishop, especially an older one, I think Idris Elba.
Idris
would do
Elba.
a lot of it.
Idris Elba? Okay.
Yeah, I know he's Heimdall already, but I think
just
he
give
would
him
rock
every
it.
character.
trying to figure out who would, because I can't see Idris Elba with that hair, because he's got a very interesting hairstyle, bro. Like,
Yeah, I'll
can you
give you that.
see him with like the Jerry?
It's
almost
Jerry
like
Curl.
Jerry
It's
curl.
what it is.
Yeah, it's like a mullet Jerry curl, bro. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah,
Who was pulling that off? Yo,
all I'm hearing is the "Coming to America" song that True Glow or whatever the hell that song is.
yeah, no, it's Soul Glow.
Soul Glow. There you
Glow.
go.
Hell yeah, bro.
I
It's
just
like
want to
a
know the
mullet-
face that Charlie Murphy's making in this fucking Dave Chappelle. Dude, that would be
It's like
fucking
a
fantastic.
mullet
Dude.
Jerry curl. Like, I can't see Idris Elba one. Like, I don't see that. But it needs to be done. It needs to be fucking.
I'll give it to you, especially with the potential of the '90s cartoon being focal characters here. I mean, that's what you
Yeah.
hit it. That '90s weird ass Jerry curl that hung over from the '80s, and then they just gave to fucking Bishop for some reason.
Yeah. But those would be
Okay.
my 3 if I had it 3. And they're all mutants, by the way. You could give it-
Mike?
yeah.
It's a weird mix of heroes and villains. So obviously, I want Doom. You know, a Victor Von Doom that was like the '90s cartoon from Fantastic Four, that thick ass accent that was, I mean, non-regional but horrifying at the same time, that commanded presence. And I remember the game Marvel Alliance when it came out. And you know, the shield carriers getting shot up, and Doom comes on the screen, and Nick Fury mouths off, and you know, Doom in that commanding voice tells him it's over, kind of a deal. And that's what I want. I want clad in metal. I mean, I'm okay with the Doom that we got in the first Fantastic Four. That guy did a great job with what he had, but his voice wasn't as commanding enough. He just wasn't enough for me, which sounds weird. Hero-wise, I would like to see Ultimate Thor. A Thor that believes that he is a god. They prove technically he isn't, but at the same time he is. It's this weird dichotomy of this character, and then you see in Battle World where he wholeheartedly believes that he is the Thor, and he focuses so hard on being a good cop for the Thor Corps, and I would like to see that aspect played out.
That's
And
badass.
then for X-Men villain that I'd like to see, the Phalanx. Yeah, they're a weird ass '90s throwback of the Borg in the X-Men universe.
Yeah, they're like weird robotic glitches and stuff.
Yeah,
Right?
but I do remember them coming out in, I think it's Assimilation in the Guardians of the Galaxy comic books, where they fuse with Ultron. So you get a new variation of them, and they go out and just consume organic material and assimilating these planets. And I do think that's a universal and cosmic threat that we haven't really explored yet.
Badass, man. That's a really good throwback. Okay, so before we go on, Jeremy, one of our dudes, one of our guys, he's a really good guy. He's usually in the chat with us. He asks, how much do y'all believe Tom Cruise is going to come out as Iron Man variant? 100%.
He's there.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's 100%.
It'll be there.
Yo, what's up, David? Good to see you from the collector, man. My three, of course, I already dropped Squadron Supreme. I think the Squadron Supreme, like I said earlier, would be a nice nod if we got like that badass glow in the back and you see like the build of Hyperion with his cape and the little wings on his, like they literally just dropped a Heroes Reborn comic not too long ago, basing on the rebirth of it. I would like to see the royal family of the Inhumans, like an actual badass with what's his name,
Medusa, and
but like a real like amazing setup for it, not like the one we got in that weird ass film. It would be nice if they did the variant from Battle World where Black Bolt owned the dive bar, and he's in his business suit, like he's in his like badass suit with his like his mouthpiece. I think that would be legit. That's just my call. The last character, I'm gonna have to break it into two of them, and it's either gonna be the Silver Surfer and Galactus, like, but you see like the full on huge motherfucking Galactus, not that bitch ass cloud we got in that first movie, and or the Annihilus wave.
Oh, Annihilus would be fun.
Yeah. And
yeah, but that opens up the negative zone.
Yes, it does. And the thing is I think that just like we got in What If, I think the variant worlds we're going to be getting are all the future projects that the Marvel is going to be going with in the next like 10 years. That's what I really think. And they're just going to give us heads up into the worlds that they're creating. They're just going to be like, yo, check this. This is where we're going. And this is how far we're going to take you.
So from a corporate standpoint, we're looking at this movie as basically revenue testing. They're auto testing all their future.
100%. And I think the last one of the variant worlds is going to be the world of Thanos the End, where we get that Thanos on a chair, like a throne of skulls.
Yeah.
With like the Hulk with a
Maestro's his pet, right?
Yeah, where he has him as his pet. And you're going to see Thanos sitting at the end of the entire universe as the last variant thing you're going to see, as that's a future that's out there. And the first thing that's going to pop off in everyone's head is, what the fuck? He's dead. Like, how does this motherfucker come back? And then boom, that's what you're going to get. I really, truly believe that Marvel is going to use this to pop off all the future endeavors that they have. They're gonna lay the seeds. I think it's the perfect opportunity, and it has nothing to do about time travel. It has everything to do about possibility.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. It has everything to do about possibility. And I think, of course, if there's any end game to the Marvel universe or what it has in consistency, is Thanos is the end. Like, it does not matter what the Avengers do, what Captain America believes in, or whatever. Like, Thanos is the dude at the end of time. Like, I really just believe that. So those are my choices.
I honestly believe, and I think everyone had some great choices. I just think that with everyone giving their versions of who we think is going to be in the movie, and if you go online, you can see anybody and everybody give their opinions about who's going to be in this movie. I think that what we're about to get is going to be a real treat for not only normies, but I think for comic book
readers and fans alike
as well. They literally spent an extra 6 months, and from what I'm reading, it was totally about cameos and story building. like as they basically scrapped the original movie that they were going. This is basically a different movie than what we
Yep.
were supposed to get. Like this is a brand new fucking movie, and it was basically all with cameos. So this is gonna be some crazy shit that we're about to get.
Super, super huge. Yeah. Well, guys, in the comments, what do you guys think? What are your top 3, top 5 cameos of who you think are going to be the people that come out in the Doctor Strange 2 film? Mike, I want to say thank you so much for coming today on the show.
Absolutely.
It's always a fucking pleasure having you. You have so much knowledge about this stuff. And we appreciate you so much in the comments when you're in there just keeping us with our T's, making sure we dot our T's and our I's and all that shit or whatever they say.
Guys make you type way too damn fast when I'm in the comments. That's the problem.
I'm telling you, man. What is it? Text to speech or whatever they got there.
At this point, yeah.
Mike, again, before we go, hit us one more time with all the information that you got on Morphomania, because I want people to know what's up. I want for people out there in the comment section to make sure they tell everybody about Morphomania. It's happening next week in Harlingen, Texas. Put it on any forum or any fucking comment section of people that you know that like the Morphin Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We're going to have some badass celebrities. Mike, tee us off. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, Morphin Mania is happening February 26th and 27th, next Saturday and Sunday. Guys, doors open at noon for the show. We have some special guests coming in. We actually even have a special in memoriam for somebody that helped develop the Power Rangers from the start to the finish. And these celebrities that are coming are bringing in special guests to come in to our show via a video chat with Chris and the Average Boys that'll be running it for us. And they're going to have a special ceremony for him, talk about some of his great work. We have guests that haven't even been to the Valley before, like Barbara Goodson, who's the voice of Rita Repulsa. She'll be on that video with, Mr. Derek Stephen Prince and the rest of the cast, discussing what he meant to them and what a boon he was to their industry, and how that individual helped create Power Rangers. Aside from that, we have the great fun stuff. We have vendors, we have artists, we have martial arts displays. We'll have a trivia contest run by some of the Rangers. Mr. Derek Stephen Prince actually be hosting a Jeopardy Power Ranger trivia. We have some great giveaways, some special statues that we had ordered in. We'll have autographed for you guys to win. We are actually going to be working with Chris Stella to hopefully host a cosplay contest. If we get some good cosplay in the door, guys, we have nothing but great prizes. We have great figures and stuff signed for you guys. And what we'll do tonight is everybody that shares our links to buy tickets, by next Wednesday, I'll pick a pair and we'll give away 2 free passes for the weekend to whoever shares live on the air. So we'll go ahead and get you guys covered. And yeah, guys, the most important thing is Morphomania is a show by fans for fans. We do this for you guys because we love this stuff too. I mean, I make the joke that I started watching Power Rangers as Super Sentai. I started watching them in Japanese. And my favorite Super Sentai is the Teal Ranger from what would be Dino Charge here in the U.S. because he's a big, chubby, bearded guy named Ramirez. Nice. And when he morphs, he changes from this big, chubby guy to this real super fit Power Ranger with an Ankylosaurus Zord. And yeah, he's awesome. But we're fans just like you guys. We love these things, and the more you support these small shows, the more we can give to the bigger shows and bring you the guests you really want to see.
Very nice, very nice. And Mike, where can people go check out the website for the information about Mighty Morphin Mania?
You can find us on Facebook at Morphin Mania. We have all our links for you to buy everything online. As a matter of fact, we have a promo code going on right now. If you share on social media, Facebook and Twitter, you can get a discount to your ticket purchase via that. And then we're currently running giveaways. We have our merchandise up. You can purchase our new caps that are coming out that I actually sold the one I was wearing today. So somebody bought it off my head in Austin. Oh, so that's pretty sweet. Awesome. We have wristbands and shirts coming and all that jazz. And if you guys go out to another local event, the RGV Sports Show is happening tomorrow in Mission, Texas. We'll have a booth set up there, and you can buy some of our merch on site as well. Oh, they have some celebrities going to be going there too. I think that's the one I told you about, Brian. Yeah, they got great. They got Rob Van Dam coming in. They got his wife, I can't remember her wrestling name at the moment. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, they got Marion Barber going in.
Shit. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan too. How about that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of great stuff. They're a friend show to us, and like I said, we try to support the shows that support us because at this point, guys, in this wave of the world, there's enough money out there for all of us to make it. And the only way we can make it is if we do this together.
Straight. I
I like
like
it.
that. That was real cool, man. You got to put that on a shirt or something, man. Or at least on a Hallmark card or something. Mike, I want to
Rob,
thank you
Rob,
again.
if you go and you get pictures with RVD, I want to see pictures, bro. I want to see fucking pictures with RVD, bro.
I want to see you lick his jawline, dude.
Oh, God. Rob is
Don't
Rob
let
is
his
my
wife see you do it.
Rob is my wrestling buddy, so we talk our wrestling shit all the time. So yeah, man.
If you look at Rob's picture, I think he's the next evolution in beard growth. Holy
Oh,
crap!
dude. No, don't even. He just shaved.
he's the
He looks like
Rob.
a freshly
Yeah,
shaved
that's right,
baby
yeah.
boy.
Yeah,
I like
about
it, but he'll grow that shit back. He's got man parts that help him grow that shit so fast. He's got that shit. I like Rob. He's the best, man. Mike, I want to say again, thank you so much for jumping on the show with us. We appreciate you so much.
Absolutely.
Brian,
Sir,
Brian,
sir.
you know exactly what I'm going to ask you, Brian.
So then ask
We
me
talked about it. What
that?
are you listening to so the fans can know
Shit.
what they're popping off? 3 songs. Let's go.
3 songs. All right, hold on. Let's see what I got on here, bro. Because you know what, even though I knew it was coming, I'm still kind of, you know.
Okay, I'll give you.
Yeah, you go first,
the
and then I'll let you.
opportunity to chill. So right now, 2 songs, same dude, Mac Miller Self Care and Mac Miller Jet Fuel are 2 of the songs I've been bumping. The other one is Porter Robertson, Goodbye to the World. Goodbye to a world. My bad. Goodbye to a world. Those are my calls. Again, Mac Miller, Jet Fuel, Mac Miller, Self Care, and Porter Robinson, Goodbye to a World. But the one that I was listening to was the Reverb slow down version. It's really, really cool. Really bumming, depressing music. I kind of like that shit sometimes. All right.
So
Let's go.
my top 3 songs that I just recently added. It's So Incredible .pkg is with Denzel Curry. He's a rapper. I don't know if you guys know who that is. And also I have an R&B track. So you know, if you guys want to slow it down for the ladies, you guys want to get a little, you guys want to put all that fucking hardcore fucking shit, you know, tuck it away.
Yeah,
for a
you
little
want to
bit.
tuck that shit away for a little bit?
I'm saying just slow it down a little bit. I have a song titled Please Don't Walk Away by PJ Morton. I promise you that song is the fucking shit. That's also new. And then I'm listening to a song by Trippie Redd and Party Next Door. Is called Excitement. So those are my 3 that I'm listening to right now.
Michael, let's throw it on. Let's give you 3 calls. Give me 3 songs that you listened to this week that you would recommend to everybody.
This week I would say upbeat to keep you going. I'm listening to Don't Lose Sight by a band called Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah, it has a jazz feel to it, a real upbeat tempo.
Yeah.
I love the
Told us
message
about that. Like that jazz stuff.
Yeah, we got Nobody Speak by DJ Shadow featuring Run the Jewels.
RDJ, my boy, RDJ.
Yes. And a song called Broke by Teddy Swims. And that's that same kind of bluesy jazz kind of a feel.
Very, very cool.
Like
I didn't know you listened to Run the Jewels, man.
It's when I'm pissed off or I need to be angry. They increase my adrenaline to get things done.
Yeah.
And I will
listen to
continuously
Angel Dust religiously, dude.
I have a quote with Margaret when we do work. You know, we quote Mr. Nancy from American Gods that angry gets shit done.
It does.
Yeah, and it's something that if I ever bring Orlando Jones to a show or I get to meet him, I will thank him for that line because I used that line to defend my dissertation when I got my master's degree, talking about how media and pop culture changes your outlook on communication. So angry gets shit done led me to complete my master's.
There you
I
go.
like it. Fuck, dude. Yeah, that's probably one of the most important things why I've added this to the show is because music to me, it literally forfeits my thought process into how I need to run my life. Where music comes in and almost takes, it's like let Jesus take the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the easiest way music is for me. It's my muse. And I love hearing from my friends what they're listening to. It helps me fucking cope and find new music. So I hope that us adding this little segment gets you guys out there and gets you to listen to some crazy shit you never listened to. Before we go, Vince, our questionnaire master of the night. This guy always asks the questions. Are we listening? Who would you recommend between MGK or Z Easy. I know
Hard
for a
pass.
bit MGK got shit on. The kid's got some talent though. But Z Easy would probably be the guy I'm gonna go with.
No, I'll give MGK respect because he married Megan Fox. I mean,
Megan
he's
Fox?
pulled her. But I mean, I don't listen to either of these guys. I got to give it to Eminem. I mean, he's still.
Why are we even bringing Eminem? Eminem's like a fucking. I mean, that's a G. Like you don't bring him in. Like I mean, but then again, MGK did deserve what he did because he talked shit. That's
Yeah, you don't do that. You don't
you
poke
don't
the
talk
bear.
shit,
That's
I
stupid.
honestly could not tell you one song from either one of these gentlemen, so I'm gonna have to defer from this question. I would just say neither one.
Well, I mean, I've heard of him. Z's an upcomer, but I mean, MGK, he's got a really diverse set of themes of music that he can create, which is good. It just shows he's a musician, and that's what's important in the music industry. But if you're out using one platform of that to talk shit to someone, you're gonna have to bring it in that platform tremendously, and I don't think he does. Z is pretty much just a straight up like a rap hip hop kind of dude, and he sticks to that genre, and he's good. Like so, I think between both of them, I think Z-Eazy's music is a little bit more cool to listen to. MGK, he's a very talented musician, but he's not no Bruno Mars. So yeah,
I think that's where I would give the distinction.
No, but it's because Bruno Mars, like that motherfucker, makes music. He's like T-Pain, like those guys are producers.
Well,
man.
that's where I would make the. And man, this is a whole nother fucking conversation I could have with you guys.
But
MGK is a good lyricist. I'll give him that. And Bruno Mars is a musician. Bruno Mars' range of creating music and different sounds is awesome. I mean, T-Pain, for as much people give him shit for being auto-tuned, that guy's a musician. Like the stuff he can produce is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a producer.
Yeah, so I think that's where I would have the distinction between them.
Yeah. Good call. Boys, thank you so much for being on the show. Michael, again, thank you so much. Brian,
Sir,
love you, man. Got to say thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to get this shit going. Got to bring you downtown. Got to bring you here so you can come one of these conventions one day. Mike, I'm gonna put Mike to it. He's gonna get me to get you to come down as a guest or something.
Only if you promise me to take me to Applebee's afterwards, bro.
Oh
Nice
no,
romantic-
We'll get Applebee's a sponsor so they can get you
a nice romantic dinner to Applebee's, bro. I can't wait, bro.
Mike, when Brian came down, instead of taking him to like some badass restaurant, me and D took him to Applebee's and shit. Instead of taking him somewhere like that's valley oriented, like something of our culture and shit.
You could have taken to like El Pato, dude, and that's like a Mexican restaurant.
Authentic fucking Mexican restaurant or some shit like that, bro. No, you take me to fucking Chili's.
Fuck, dude.
You took me to Chili's.
Corny as fuck.
I'm like, yo, you guys have me in the middle of fucking nowhere. You take me to fucking Chili's, bro.
Jeez,
What we need to do is to get
guests.
you to either authentic South Texas barbecue or to South Texas Tex-Mex cuisine.
Yeah,
like a Los Asados or
we'll take care of you.
Listen, I'm all for it. Just no Chili's, Applebee's, all of that's off.
No McDonald's. No Taco Bell. We're going to take care of you.
If I have it up here, do not take. I don't want to see it.
What I'm seeing is Robert in the comments is going to cook your meal for you. What he's going to do,
I'm saying these are all acceptable. Because see, Rob is a real friend. He's a real guy. That's what it is. This is what happened.
Oh man, Applebee's is nice. Applebee's is nice
for your prom date, baby. I mean,
Mike, you thought it was a cheap date. Man. That's what it was. He thought it was a cheap date. Take me to Applebee's.
Did you get the appetizer, Chris? Did at least get the appetizer?
Oh, you guys are horrible, man. You guys are horrible. All right. We'll take you somewhere better, guys. In the comments, thank you so much. You guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. Maybe you can recommend us a restaurant or two for the next time. But guys, we'll catch you again next Friday here live on the Average Boys podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, you can join us on Spotify. You can join us on Google. You can join us on anything that says podcast at the ending of it. You can fucking find us. We're on every one of those channels. Go check them out. Like us. Fucking subscribe to us. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. Tell all of them. Tell me all of them. And we teach them everything about nerd shit. We'll see you guys again later next Friday. Peace out. See ya. Laters.